Why are RAMs getting so expensive nowadays?
OpenAI and all the companies, they need the end user to use their services.
As a company, you can always change your terms and agreements.
There is no more Office. They literally changed it to Copilot.
Like, it's hard to go from Apple to something else after you kind of gotten into it.
I was never against immigration. I was against illegal immigration.
I guess the biggest crime, at least till 2024, was to be a white straight guy living in the US.
How much they can be pushed until it's enough.
The question right now is who's holding the needle?
We're coming, we're building, but it's Chinese people.
Some content is available in a country and it's not available in another country.
There are no ads in Albania on YouTube. No ads.
We no longer can write software without AI.
Oh, we don't need software engineers, and you're going and buying an entire fucking team?
Oh shit, we actually ran into the problem. Let's hire some professionals to fix our shit.
What I'm first is a good professional, and then whatever I'm doing home and whatnot, it's my job.
We live maybe the last years where we truly own stuff.
There will be a more need for specialists, I think.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Unstaged with another special guest. And the reason he's special is because he's an old friend of mine, a university colleague, and someone I know, and I am feeling we're gonna have a lot of fun in this episode. So without too much further ado, if you can tell us your name, what do you do for a living, and of course your story, how did you get into tech, because everybody has their unique, interesting story.
Sure. So again, my name is Traian, and I've been basically into tech since 2018. It so happened that I got into tech actually quite funny. It was the last year of university.
Yeah.
And basically we heard about this kind of course.
What do you do for a living? You haven't told me that. I see you're sleek. So
I was sleek.
Your name is Traian, and
Yes,
what do you do for a living?
So I'm writing code. I'm a software engineer, basically. Engineer.
Were you always a software engineer?
No, of course not. I was QA, and then after that I got into engineering. Actually, it's partly because of you. I know we talked about, and at the time I was looking into C#. Actually, I was looking into Java and C#. And I know you mentioned Go, and you recommended the courses for
the funny guy,
McLeod. I forgot his name. Todd McLeod.
Yeah.
So Udemy courses, the funny guy. Yeah, and he actually mentioned Arden Labs, and he mentioned Rob Pike. No, not Rob Pike. He mentioned
Bill Kennedy.
Bill Kennedy. Yes. Yeah. And that's how I also got into Arden Labs courses, because they're kind of top notch as well.
Yeah. And now, how did you get into tech?
So back to the topic at hand. It was the last year of university, and we heard about this kind of QA kind of courses that they were doing at State University.
Was it state or technical?
It was State University.
Yeah.
It was State University because Allied was doing the courses there. It's also funny because those courses were only on Saturday, and my family was thinking that I was trying to ditch hard work during the weekends to go to those courses.
Yeah.
And it's also funny that because I went to those courses, my brother also went to those courses after me. So he also got into QA basically. And it was a year of courses, kind of a semester into manual QA and then another into automation. And then that summer of 18, I did the internship of Allied basically. And then I got the job at their office. It's also interesting that I think my story would have been a little bit different, because it's funny how you think about it. You get kind of, from time to time, you get kind of either ditched or moved to projects and stuff like that. I was supposed to be actually a automation engineer at one project in Allied,
Yeah.
And then as the last step, they decided to just kind of boot me up, and they just moved me to another project. And that's how I got into that office project. It was close to Tech University, the sixth block, if you know it,
Yeah. Yeah.
of Chim, and it's in the building Maison, into that building. So that's
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
basically I got into all of the manual stuff, and after that, I get to know people there, and that guy got me into Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
And then and then when I heard I kind of passed, I saw you in, I think it
Yeah. We
was Pizza
fucking met
Mania.
on.
Pizza Mania. It was Pizza Mania.
No, we met on the fucking hall, and I'm like, "You work here? Yeah, and you also
No,
work here."
but yeah, but before that, I saw you in Pizza Mania, and I literally approached your table. You were eating some pizza,
Yeah. 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 I remember that.
and I approached the table, and it's like, yo, long time,
What's up?
long time no see.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I know I mentioned you then that I will be working in Crunchyroll, and then the rest is kind of history.
Interesting story, because everybody's like, "Hey, I got a laptop or a PC. I started doing gaming." Or
It's different. I would say it's different. I got um during my work at Allied, I tried for a few times to get into programming, and I did with Java, but then they closed the office on Maison and they moved it into center back.
yeah,
That center, Unix center, that they have the office there. So they kind of moved me back to another project. I used to be like a data QA engineer, kind of, sort of, and we were responsible to ETL process, kind of nothing crazy. We were just writing SQL scripts and just testing that that the data moved is corresponds to
I mean,
everything.
that's our job basically. We take data from some fucking place, we move it to another fucking place. It's basically data here and there, you know. Yeah.
But that's the thing, when you actually get to understand it, it gets more easy to do stuff. But this is I would say this is more in the line with, if we're looking at web kind of services, web stuff. Usually this is what you are doing.
I mean, everything is web to an like, I would say everything is to an extent an extension of web.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But then it depends. If you're, let's say, if you're looking into embedded stuff or some other stuff, then it kind of gets not really the moval of data.
Yeah, true,
But then
true.
because it's also, I was looking kind of just a little bit, not nothing too crazy, into embedded and and kind of Internet of Things, and it, to a degree, is like something similar to microservices. If I'm being honest, it's like you have all this stuff and they communicate between them in either even your modules. It's not kind of,
It's a lot more stable now. Like
the good analogy.
Back in the day, embedded was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even now, it's I saw that Rust also does kind of
I actually talked to an embedded engineer, and he didn't quite like Rust. He said C is still the fucking king.
it is, but
Yeah.
I would say Rust is getting kind of traction because the kernel, if I remember correctly, the kernel of Linux are starting to kind of implement it at the core level.
Yeah, true.
So it's getting kind of some recognition.
But at the same time, there are like tools that have been rewritten in Rust when it comes to Linux, and they kind of move a bit slower. Like, I don't know. I would really love to see Rust excel, especially in the, what is it? The gaming engines. Like, if there's if there's gonna be some kind of a fucking Unreal in Rust, I am turning into a game developer the second day, I guess.
I would say Unreal for me, it's its own kind of bag of worms, because it's
the best shit on the market.
It is, but the thing they do is they have a lot of stuff that it's like this curse of Unreal Engine 5, that all the games are poorly optimized. It touches all of the games. A lot of developers were trying to push some kind of old technology. I remember particularly a technology for anti-aliasing that looks very pretty, but they would not want to add it at the level of the engine itself,
Yeah, I hear a lot of negative stories about Unreal and how they always fucking rewrite everything, break everything,
Yeah.
and people just need to keep changing everything all the
Even
time.
even the stuff that they're pushing is it's very demanding. And also I've been watching some time. Maybe you heard that channel, Threat Interactive. He goes very in details about different games, that what makes them bad and what makes them good.
Yeah.
And there is this he was going the last kind of game he was going over was the engine, Fox engine, Fox engine.
Yeah, heard
Metal
of it.
Gear Solid 5 was done in it. that that game, even though it was new then when it came out, and my computer was, I think, 5 years old, it was running it at maximum settings. At Again, it was maxed out, and I would have at least 120 fps for such an engine. It's just marvel. It's and it's a lot of stuff like this that I would want the engines to be like this. Even the same thing, because I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but even the same thing why the DLSS and the FSR and everything with upscaling was introduced is that your old GPU, you can squeeze some more kind of juice out of it for
Yeah, yeah.
3, 4, 5 more kind of years. But instead, what did they do? Instead, they decided, you know what? Our game currently, because it's so poorly optimized on Unreal Engine 5, we're going to make it mandatory to be run on upscale. So basically, you have modern game on modern hardware that is not capable of running 60 FPS without upscaling. You literally have to upscale, because again, my old computer, not current one, it still has a 1080 GTX 1080
Yeah.
NVIDIA, and I remember running games at 4K 60 FPS then. And if you have a monitor, which again it's full HD, if you don't have 4K, it super samples it down. So I was running 4K games without even knowing, and there were no hiccups at that time. No DLSS, no nothing. 4K, at least 4K 60 FPS, the games had it, and I would not feel the stuttering, the jittering, nothing of it. But now you want to run a game at 4K 60 FPS native, and you can't. It's a lot of stuff that's been added by Nvidia, with even with ray tracing, with path tracing, that basically annihilates your GPU. And I'm pretty sure, again, if you have a 5090, you can kind of have some performance, but even at 5090 they want you to enable DLSS. Even then they
Yeah, it's
want it.
funny how technology evolves, but at the same time, the people who use it are kind of not using it, not squeezing it as much as back in the day. As a result, you get not this, not even better quality, I would say, and it's more demanding. Like there's this meme with like NASA using 8 kilobytes of RAM versus nowadays
Yeah.
using hundreds of like gigabytes of RAM, and still not is not enough.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. They're trying to gamble for the hardware kind of getting more faster and more powerful. But
Well, we'll
in
talk about
reality,
that. We'll talk about that because
but in reality, they are just poorly optimizing everything.
yeah, yeah,
Because it's funny how with limited resources they were able to squeeze everything and make, let's say, the game work. As an example, there is that what's it called, the first Resident Evil game that was made to run on either GameCube, or I forgot which game console. So the PlayStation 1, the disc by itself, I think it could handle 700 megabytes, but those mad lads were able to squeeze that game into 100 megabytes and run on the other console, which they didn't cut everything. I mean, everything was there. They left it untouched. They just kind of compressed it so efficiently that from 700 they were able to run it at I think 90 something megabytes, and there were no cutscene kind of removed, no gameplay, no nothing, no kind of audio sound effects. You had everything. It just kind of, the footprint was 90 something megabytes, but you wouldn't be able to see it now. I think the closest thing we kind of had was that they did lower the size. Maybe you know Helldivers 2. They did lower the size of that game. It used to have 100 and something gigabytes to now
Yeah,
20
yeah.
to now 25, and that was because on hard drives it was loading kind of harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and they had they had duplicates of data in order for them to kind of read it kind of closer. So they have data one to another, so that, and it's duplicates of another data piece of, let's say, an asset or whatever. So because of those duplicates, the hard drive doesn't need to go that farther and wait for you to
Yeah, so
until it
like,
reaches that sector.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really close here. They decided to just kind of get rid of those duplicates, and
Just fucking buy an SSD, right?
it massively reduced the load time. I think it's even interesting that they were kind of gambling that they were not sure if it will make it kind of slower on hard drives, but instead it just got, I think, 5% kind of slower, which is kind of nothing. But the game is 25 gigs now. It's not like 100 and something. It's just amazing also. But yeah, you don't see that that often, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a lot of topics I want to dive into,
Sure.
especially
The RAM ones.
Yeah, especially some topics which are quite hot and demanding at the moment.
Yes.
But it smells like wine in the air, and I want to take the opportunity to introduce the wine because I kind of want to taste it. So, because I've invited one of my old friends, I had to buy some decent wine. Let's just say that. So on the table we have the Governor from Castel Mimi, and we have Autograph from Gitana Winery. Both good wines. We've poured some of the, what was the first one?
Was it the Governor? I think
Yeah.
it's been
So
poured.
we poured some of the Governor. So without too much further ado,
Do you know by the way, how to taste it usually? The
yeah, you
wine.
have to fucking, like, there's a whole fucking script around it, which I don't want to respect anyway.
I mean, yeah. I understand.
Yeah, really good stuff.
You also need to have some cheese,
No, it's
depends on how you want to taste
it's really good stuff. I prefer to have my friend, some fucking wine, and topics we can talk about. Speaking of topics, according to you, what's the hottest job to have right now? And don't say software engineer because that's bullshit.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, OnlyFans works.
I would
guess.
say I would
Let's
OnlyFans.
just say what's the hottest job to have right now in the engineering space?
Engineering space.
I can give you a hint. It's maybe has to do something with like factories and stuff.
I was about to say it's pretty paid. It's really
It was a joke. Anyway, I was gonna say maybe the hottest job right now is to work at a like factory producing what is it called, chips like RAM, for example.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say necessarily
Like high bandwidth memory type of chips.
I think it's depends more on the company, if I'm being honest.
No, but I'm not speaking about the official salaries. I'm speaking more about the smuggling you can do. Imagine you're working at the fucking chip factory and you smuggle, I don't know, a few chips of RAM in your pocket.
I don't think that's
I don't
think that's I don't think nobody will go unnoticed. I don't think that's gonna work.
I mean, you can make like some of those chips fall into your pocket and then
sure
and
out
then
of
go
nowhere.
and then go eBay or Amazon and they'll just sell like
you want to go the route of that Russian that do it yourself, right? You want to build your own RAM.
Yeah, but for real, like, what the fuck is going on in the RAM space? Like, why are RAMs getting so expensive nowadays? Is it because of AI?
It actually started with OpenAI.
Yeah. Because I think they booked like Micron, if I'm not mistaken.
So
for like 2028 or 2029.
So I'm not sure about Micron, but what they did is they went actually in the same day. They went to Taiwan. Our boy Sam Altman. went to Taiwan, and in the same day he's scheduled to meet two different companies. And in our case, is they wanted to meet SK Hynix. No, not Taiwan, Korea, South Korea. SK Hynix,
Yeah,
and
but it's one of the three. It's Micron, Hynix, and then
and the
Samsung.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Samsung. Yeah. And our boy met who? Samsung and SK Hynix in the same day. So he did kind of like a power play, I would say, because nobody, SK Hynix did not know about the meeting with Samsung, and Samsung did not know about the meeting with SK Hynix, right? So he kind
tried to get like the lowest bidder.
So he proposed to them so that he will get kind of total volume 40% around, something like that. But it's interesting if, let's say, if they knew about it, let's say if they knew, either of them knew that they would kind of meet and have some whatever. It's interesting if they would have accepted. But I think what it would have happened is some of them, let's say, either would try to lowball, kind of lower the offer, or maybe kind of even higher, because you need it, then you have to pay more.
Correct. Like when you see struggle and like demand, then you, I guess, higher, like you raise them. Like here's the funny thing with like RAM, because I was reading these days after like the interaction with you, that they had like they didn't have this all-time high when it comes to pricing. They were always on the same price. Demand was always the same. Because everything changed because of this whole AI boom, which we love to call it.
Yeah, but think about it. We had the crypto stuff, which again, it was not targeting particularly RAM, right? It was not targeting like a piece.
But in the case of AI, it is targeting particularly RAM, especially around like when you're training a model.
Yeah.
When you have like when you want to load a bunch of stuff in memory before it lands into like the LLM, let's say.
That's the thing about it, because in this case, because they targeted specifically RAM, you have RAM in a lot of stuff.
True. Yeah, like you have DRAM in pretty much most devices that are not spinning the wheel.
I mean, just think about it. Even your kind of fridge could have RAM, and if it's a smart fridge, you can even run whatever on it.
I would argue it even fucking affected HDDs, because nowadays, because RAM has gotten more expensive and everything that's manufacturing and using DRAM chips, as a result, has increased the prices. So if you take SSDs, for instance, they also have increased their prices. As a result, especially like data centers and servers are like, oh, fuck SSD, we're going to actually buy more stocks of HDDs. As a result, demand for HDDs also went up. As a result, they also increased their prices.
Yeah. But again, here's like, if you look at it, the first thing kind of is getting hit is directly the RAM, which you have your RAM for your computer and whatever. And then the second one that goes with RAM is your GPUs. And then after that, everything else, as in your phones, your laptops, consoles, etc.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we were talking, I think, the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm not into the topic, but let me just check it for fun. And I checked the Crucial RAM, which I bought exactly last year at around the same date. It costed like 196 gigs of RAM. It costed me around $300 at the time. Now, for the same exact fucking RAM, it costs me about $1,500. Like how many like fucking hundreds of percentage is that of an increase? That's a lot.
From 200 to 300 and something, even 400 in some cases. And again, it's even that there were cases of like it happened a few days ago. A guy ordered a computer from, I think, Asus or something, and he paid $43,500. They actually canceled his order, and a few hours later they kind of bumped the price to 4,300.
Yeah, I was this, like, even today I was on fucking B&H, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's just fucking browse some SSDs. I was looking for SSDs, and all of a sudden, like, a notification shows up that the website has refreshed, has refreshed or updated or whatever. Like, please refresh your page. I'm like, fuck it, let's refresh. And I'm looking, the fucking price has changed. and it happened really quick. And I was like, screw this, I'm buying it. So I guess I said fuck it. I bought myself another 5090 and I ordered a few SSDs as well, just in case. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
2026 has in store for me.
I would say it's, and I think we'll reach this topic more into details, but kind of I can touch a little bit is that the incentive is to make it more impossible for the end user to kind of build a
I
computer.
was gonna touch on that, and I was gonna ask, did we reach the point where, because companies are bigger and they can outbid you, the regular customer who doesn't always have the money to buy the highest end tech, who doesn't even have the fucking money to buy the highest end tech or to build a PC in the first place. So because they can outbid you by outbuying everything on the market, and now you have companies like Micron who just said fuck Crucial. We're no longer building stuff for the customers, for the customer base. We're just gonna do B2B contracts. In the process, as you said, you invalidate or take away the possibility of us, the peasants,
Yeah,
take the possibility of building and owning hardware. So the question is, are we moving away from owning to renting only?
I would say not yet, but it goes towards it. I mean,
Because
looking
I
from
see
the
Nvidia
perspective.
Nvidia has like this fucking cloud gaming. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if you've seen it.
yeah, I
And they
saw it.
have like, I think it's like 100 or 200 bucks a month or a year. A year. I think it's a year.
Yeah,
It's like 10 or 20 bucks a month.
it's so the thing with and there are a few kind of topics into one, but touching with the Nvidia kind of GeForce Now, right? That's what it's called. The GeForce Now thing is that you used to be able to play for free. So there is like a subscription and no subscription.
Yeah.
If you have a it, and I'm not sure if you needed to have a Nvidia GPU, but I think you could have with a subscription from whichever kind of device. But if you had an Nvidia GPU through their app, you could kind of stream games, free games, as in Apex Legend, Counter Strike, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The only issue is that you had to wait, kind of, you were kind of in line while whatever remote computer is going to be free so that you will be able to play. Now what are they doing is that and it kind of got into effect from this year for 1st of January, is that they're applying a limit to subscription or no subscription. They're applying a limit to how many hours you can play per month, and it's 120 hours.
How much is that per day? Is like two
So
or four?
so if you think about it, in 2 weeks, if let's say back into my hardcore playing games, right? I in 2 weeks I will, from sometimes you can, let's say, play 160 hours, and if let's say you're playing every day, right?
Yeah.
You are going to reach that limit. If you're, let's say,
Yeah.
a
Any.
student, if you're a student or in school or whatnot or whatever, a child is going to reach that threshold really fast.
Yeah. Especially if you try to go like, because we live in an era where gaming is, I would even say, higher, is more superior in terms of media content consumption is higher than like movies and stuff.
It got mainstream, yeah.
Yeah, it went mainstream, and there's this concept of esports, of competitive gaming and whatnot. And a lot of people spend a lot of the, I would even argue that's why Nvidia is even pushing this idea, because they see potential in this area. It's already taken the market, and now people own a bunch of hardware. And now, how about we make it more impossible for people to build it by we owning everything and making it extremely insanely pricey to build one and own it, to the point where it's just fucking cheaper to rent it, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's, you have to think about it, and maybe you can kind of, I can get my foil tin hat and put it on as a conspiracy theory and whatnot, but Nvidia kind of selling their chips and their kind of GPUs to OpenAI, and not only to them, right?
Yeah.
For compute and whatever. But at the same time, OpenAI and other companies, they need the end user to use their services.
Yeah, but if you think about it, you could like sell your hardware and it's going to be a one-time transaction, or you can keep your hardware, sell a fucking service, and it's going to be ongoing every fucking year. Maybe people forget to cancel their subscriptions.
Yeah,
Maybe they want to upgrade their subscription. And the worst fucking part of them all is, as a company, you can always change your terms and agreements.
of course.
So it's no longer going to cost you $10 a month. It's going to cost you $15 a month because you're the monopoly and you can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
But that's how they operate. I
Yeah.
mean, it's they would start with something, and again, I will go a little bit, of course, the same thing that Microsoft is currently is doing with their, maybe you saw it, but or maybe not.
The accounts thing?
No. They literally changed the name of the office to it used to be Microsoft Office 365, but now it's Microsoft 365 Copilot. There is no more Office.
Yeah.
They literally changed it to Copilot.
I thought you were going to touch on the fucking offline accounts.
Yeah,
that
but
they wanna-
that thing with offline accounts, you can do it pretty easily
With a backlash?
through Rufus. It's no issue. I have no issue with that. The only thing I would say, it's people that are installing their images through.
I mean, they could,
Some
I
other
guess,
stuff.
trickle it and make it extremely impossible to install, like, I don't know, with like how Apple does it, except Apple does it through hardware limitations. They have like hardware which limits you from being able to make, like, it's close to impossible to, like, who does Hackintosh nowadays?
It's still being done, but
But who does it? Because like ARM is still not available on, like, for the consumers as x86, for example.
I mean, you have it.
Like, you can buy Amperes, like you can buy, but the options are quite limited, I would say.
You have a few laptops,
And even if you buy an Ampere, it's not like you're gonna fucking be able to replicate everything which Apple does. Like, you need to have, like, even when I remember when I did my Hackintosh, I was supposed to buy like specific parts. Like, for instance, the Wi-Fi module was supposed to be from the Broadcom, and like different parts you have to buy them from different brands, because that's how, like, Apple tries to like lock you in, so that it makes, and they even have like chips installed on the motherboard so that you can't really hack it and you can't really mimic. Like, I'm not sure how easy it is to build a Hackintosh nowadays. I'd love to see an experiment.
It's not as straightforward, unfortunately. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's you mentioned about it, and a few weeks ago I saw a guy who literally did a Hackintosh build.
Yeah, but how usable is it?
It's very usable. The only issue is that you have to tinker with it. So if you look,
It's also the same, like, what was it called, the Clover thing?
I'm not sure. So you have to, because you're depending on what processor you have, you need to kind of rebuild the image, the Mac OS image, under kind of your processor.
Yeah.
And also depends on all the modules that you have. You will have to kind of find all those
I see what you mean.
kexts and everything for each piece and thing. You will
So
have
you,
to
like,
search for it.
Try to make it run as if it was like an Intel-based MacBook.
Yeah, they do stuff like that. They have to rebuild. They have to tinker, and it's not as straightforward. That's and this also it always comes to the end user, how easy it is to do. The same thing is with computers as well. It comes to, so do you want to tinker? Do you want to spend time and read about it, understand how to build it, what you need to do it safely, not just kind of YOLO it and whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, what if, like, Apple, I'm not sure if they do it now or not, but what if at some point, because when I did my Hackintosh, you were able to just never, like, you never want to update. So it wasn't the case that you were going to receive like a fucking update overnight, which was going to break your Hackintosh, right? You just don't want any updates, and that's it. And that's a safe way to stay, like, to run the same Hackintosh on the same hardware, basically. But if they have like an option which is like some kind of mandatory update every 3 or 6 months, whether you want it or not, whenever you turn on your PC, just gonna fucking update and it's gonna break automatically. Then at that point you could say Hackintosh is dead, kind of, which is a thing with iPhones, I believe. Like, at some point they just fucking force the update. They don't want you to stay on, to lag too much behind.
I think you're more free, at least in Europe. I think
Yeah.
they don't force it. you can also kind of use the third party kind of installer for apps and whatnot. That's how they were able to push for Epic Game Store with their Fortnite and everything battle with Apple and whatever. But in US, yeah, you're pretty much kind of fucked. You can't you can't install kind of from third party or freely. There are kind of workarounds, and you need to renew that app because you're testing it
Yeah.
every 7 days. I know I used to do that before they did it with implementation of third party install apps. But going back to the topic with Max and Hackintosh, the guy literally installed the latest version of macOS with that kind of um, through the new kind of process. The only issue is that it takes quite a while, and you have to tinker.
Yeah, I would imagine if I had to do it all over again, I would just give up.
I mean, even for me, it's a friend of mine gave me his ThinkPad, and that thing is it has a BIOS password. You cannot hack it. Basically, it used to be that you could just kind of unplug the CMOS battery and it would just kind of skip reset the password. But now it has a onboard. It has two batteries, one that you can unplug and the other which is onboard. And that chip has even if there is no power, it doesn't wipe itself. It kind of saves the state somehow. So I wanted to know if it's possible for me to kind of use it, because he did not know that there is a password to BIOS. And without BIOS, you cannot choose your boot priority. You cannot just install Windows.
Yeah, it reminds me of the time when, like, remember when we had phones and you were able to unplug the battery? Just fucking unplug the battery.
You can still do that on some phones. A Fairphone, I think.
Yeah, but it got like it's so widely accepted nowadays that your phone, like, you can't fucking take the battery out.
Because it always comes down to corporations trying to limit what you can do with the stuff you own,
and they
even
said,
though
like,
you don't.
Oh, Apple is actually doing a very intelligent thing. Like, why the fuck would we allow more flexibility to our customers when, in fact, most of them are so dumb that they'll just fucking buy another phone instead of replacing the battery?
Because not a lot of people want to fight.
Exactly. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Especially like you're in the US, like, you fucking buy another phone, you know?
It's the same thing with Louis Rossmann with the fight for repair.
And in fact, a lot of these companies will have such bad customer support that they'll just incentivize this bad behavior or bad customer support to the point where you just fucking give up and just buy a new one, because, like, there's no competition. As a result, you kind of are forced to buy from them again, and you just say, fuck it, I'll just buy a new one, you know?
But there are a few kind of there are quite a lot of factors that force you into this. The ecosystem, let's say, your family being on this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of decisions going into it, and once you go Apple, you kind of can't go back, especially the fucking, like, iMessage thing. Like, it's hard to go from Apple to something else after you kind of gotten into it.
By
It's
the
like
way,
getting in a gang, you know, you can't get out.
in Europe, you know that in Europe they were forced. So now you're basically able to, through your Android phone, send basically airdrop stuff to your Mac.
Yeah, I've seen I think MKBHD, like,
I also did it.
showcased the fucking airdrop on the Android.
No, it works. It works.
Yeah,
it works.
But I think it worked because I'm not sure if Apple was forced into it.
No.
I think
Google did it.
Yeah, I think
Google adopted this.
They
stuff.
reverse engineered it somehow.
Yeah.
And that's how they did it.
Also, the other guy, an Indian, that he reverse engineered the AirPods kind of protocol.
I think I've seen the GitHub repo.
Libre AirPods, I think.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can use them. Mad lad.
But the only question to my mind is, for how long is that gonna stick? Because Apple is usually sneaky about it, and they're just gonna fucking change the protocol and whatnot.
They won't change it. It's just text. They won't change it.
No, I mean, maybe they slightly change it and adapt it to, like, all their devices, but then you have older devices and you're kind of fucked anyway. So you need to support all devices. And as a result, you won't change it.
I would say if it was if it was a really big issue, which is not, I would say they would have done it. But if it's you're still using AirPods,
Yeah, but
they don't care.
given their history of trying to fucking like monopolize the market when it comes to absolutely everything, it's just Apple, you know, like they just don't want competition of any kind.
Well, there is still that ongoing kind of EU battle with them.
I mean, they don't give a shit about the fine. Let's be honest. Like they're gonna pay the fine,
You
move
have to
on,
you have
fuck
to make
off.
it bigger. You have to make it bigger,
Like how?
as in 10 billions.
Yeah,
You
like
know.
how are you gonna punish Apple when you have fucking Donald Trump uh, conquering the world, fucking kidnapping presidents and
They
shit?
also they want to attack Cuba. You know.
Yeah, like how the fuck are you gonna tell like as Europe are you gonna fucking punish like how are you gonna punish Apple when Donald Trump comes in and says shut the fuck up, lift the fine, or if it's a fine like what's 100 million to Apple? It's nothing.
But that's the thing. This is a kind of subject I also spoke with my friends that they're purposefully making those kind of not respecting regulations so that they make more money. Let's say they make more money selling your data, right? Because it's like illegal to sell your data, but they sell it either way so that if they are getting caught, it's no issue, we're paying whatever 100 million, even though they, let's say, made 3 billion.
Yeah, usually the fine is like fining fucking oligarchs in the 90s. Like they made so much fucking money that fine is nothing to them.
Even
They happily will pay the fine because there is such a thing in jurisdiction. You cannot fucking go after them for the same exact crime.
yeah,
So if you pay a low enough fine,
you're settling. Yeah,
you
yeah.
basically bought your way into it, and
Yeah.
you're settled with the government and everything else like that.
That's why I always said.
So you need like another 2 or 3 years so that they can convict you of a new crime, which is bullshit.
or you need them you need to make them so that they will pay at least 20 billions or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to make it substantial so that their pocket will feel it, because 100 million is nothing to them.
if I were an American company, I would be just fucking chilling, given the fact that Trump is just overruling everything. Fuck international law, fuck everybody else. We're just gonna do whatever we want. And it's kind of a, I don't know, an America first kind of era, you could say.
But you have to work close with him.
I
Because
would be a proud American nowadays. I would be all the way like if I were to be an American, I'd be fucking proud to be American. Given what's going on in the world, what Trump's doing, I mean, we'll have to see what else is going to happen. But it's kind of a interesting 2026, I would say.
by the way, which state would you choose? Which I was thinking to myself, right? I wouldn't want to be in California.
I guess it's safe to say wherever the fuck Mar-a-Lago is.
Is it
It's
Texas?
Florida, obviously, but
oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'd pick Florida as is quite interesting.
But it's pretty conservative. Florida is pretty.
I like conservative. Fuck the blue states. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I don't know. Like I used to lean more, let's say, democratic, but given the fucking shift they've taken, not that my fucking opinion matters a lot on American politics, but I'm just saying I used to like think more towards that direction because that's how we grew up, right?
Yeah.
We grew up, I guess, a bit more rebellious. Tried to fucking
More old school.
yeah, try to fucking escape this Soviet Union mindset where you are told to not go outside of your box, don't speak if you weren't asked, don't ask too many questions, try to stay in the line, try to fit in, try to be normal. There's even this fucking concept in our society of be normal, be like everybody else, don't stand out and shit. And I guess that's how we grew up. So I was leaning more towards Democrats and whatnot. But given all the bullshit that's been happening around like freedom of speech and whatnot, I guess it's gotten me a bit more concerned. And I'm like, fuck it. I guess I'm a bit more red-pilled nowadays, a bit more Republican. Although, given the recent events, I would say they're all fucking in the same boat.
Yeah.
And like they just take turns when it comes to whoever's going to govern the country. But in the process, everybody is just fucking screwed and wrecked. and like it doesn't matter who you choose, they're still gonna fucking fill their pockets and you're still gonna be wrecked anyway. So yeah, I guess you should think more about your own life. I
But
don't know.
but it's even more funny that we lived through kind of communism to a degree, right? And even our parents and their parents, they lived through communism, and some kind of still want it back because
Yeah, when I see Americans fucking say, let's bring socialism,
yeah,
communism, and shit like fucking go to Cuba for 1 week, my friend.
North
You'll see
Korea,
how
go North
life,
Korea
or North Korea, you'll see how fucking life is there, you know?
or China.
Yeah, like even go to like post-Soviet countries which claimed their independence, and you'll see how life is there, and you'll immediately, like, the funniest thing about like Americans is they don't realize how privileged they are. And I guess sometimes I'm envious of them, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, I guess the grass is always greener on the other side, and you forget to appreciate what's like where you live, the benefits you got in your own country. But yeah, I guess I'd still feel proud as an American in 2026 until I guess 2028, when Trump's mandate kind of runs over, and then we'll see what else is going to happen after that.
Would you? I mean, you have a visa.
I do still have a visa. I think it's
You
available
gotta
till
visit. You gotta visit.
2029. I still haven't been to the US one single time, but I'd love to. I'd
You
love to
have to.
check some of my friends there.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Because again, I was thinking, even in our case, there I stumbled upon a funny kind of post. It's a little bit off the story, off kind of the story, but uh, United States are approving more talent visa for OnlyFans and YouTubers and
You
gamers.
sure about that?
Yeah, compared to real talent.
Yeah, but like I remember the scandal around like H1B visas and fucking software companies struggling with that, and there would even be like emerging companies that would offer services on how to get visa approvals and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but H1B visa, it's for work, right? I mean,
are
to,
they issuing H1Bs or O1s?
I'm not sure, but I thought about it. I thought that H1B is the one for kind of working visa,
Yeah,
no?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the talent visa is a different one. It's you're a talent coming into to United States.
I'm not sure if that US is like really approving of that, because like if you like watch any of Marco Rubio's like appearances and shit like that, he's, I guess, more towards closing opportunities for like immigration and stuff like that. And I think I've even seen some like announcements, like if you watch the American embassy, the US embassy in Moldova, for instance, they're not as active, especially since the what
The
was it,
closing of the
closing, and then the thing with US aid, which fucking like ruined a lot of a lot of NGOs, let's just say that.
What about the current stuff with the Somalian children centers?
Yeah, like it's fucking bonkers that you have this stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure about immigration, but I definitely need to visit US once.
You
At
have to.
least once, like
I, w- I,
until 2029.
I would also want to, but I need to get a visa first.
Yeah, imagine going to the US. Hey, I want to visit for the first time, and then you misgender somebody.
I mean, just don't go to California. I
Yeah,
guess.
just don't fucking go to a restaurant and address somebody as Mr. when you're supposed to say Mrs.
Yeah, but it's. I would say English is also interesting because you can not say the pronouns. You can
Who
you
gives a fuck about pronouns? Like, remember, I think it was Twitter, I think it was LinkedIn as well, when people would fucking put their like pronouns and shit, even in the CV. And nowadays, if you put your pronouns anywhere, you're just gonna fucking be discarded from like any job application.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's all this stuff is just kind of because it shifted a little bit. The politics shifted, as in, oh, diversity is bad. Okay, it's bad,
Didn't Trump
right?
say that there are only two genders and shit?
Yeah,
And then that immediately invalidated the passports. So basically, the Americans that had their passport in like a weird way
I don't know about that.
They
It
basically
could be,
can't
but I
fucking
don't know
use their
about it.
passport to travel anymore because technically they're not male or female.
That's interesting. I don't know about that.
I've heard some stuff like that, or at least read some articles. I'm not sure to what extent that's like applicable, because you have to make law. When you like make law, you need to keep in mind that it's not retroactive.
But it's also the stuff, at least that I know of, is that, let's say you as a president of United States approve something, right, or make an order or whatever, you make it as the level of the country, right? So the level
Yeah,
is like a federal
it's
level.
federal. Yeah, like
But the states choose for themselves, no?
if it's a federal executive order, then the states have no choice, have no say. Usually it goes like states first and then it's like a federal law of sorts. But if it's an executive order, you kind of have no choice. Executive order means,
But they still fight it somehow.
of course, yeah, of course you have like blue states and shit where you have like with deportation, for instance, you have ICE going after like immigrants and stuff, and then you have blue states governor telling police stations, police officers to don't fucking comply and don't help them, basically encouraging immigration. But
It's also, for me, it's also interesting that you have, let's say, criminals, but I mean literal criminals that you somehow you don't want to deport them.
Yeah, but
for me it's strange. It's a kind of foreign concept. But
you're always gonna have like people on the both sides where you have criminals hiding under the fact that like these are innocent people, they're just trying to make a living, trying to contribute to society, pay taxes and whatnot. And then on the other hand, you have actual real people helping and contributing and being silent and just trying to make a living and minding their own business, and they have no criminal record and they actually get deported. So you're obviously going to make mistakes when it comes to that, but at the same time I agree with what Trump does, in the sense that if you have an open border, you're just going to become fucking UK, where the second most popular name is Mohammed and shit. Like you need to preserve, that's why it's called conservatism. You need to conserve values, people, like your nation, for instance.
Yeah, but it's always an issue if a white guy says that.
Of course,
if you want to preserve, let's say, your country's identity, right?
Yeah,
it's always an issue if you're white. If you're other stuff.
I mean, I guess the biggest crime, at least till 2024, was to be a white straight guy living in the US.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't know struggle because you're white and you're straight.
Yeah, and you have white privilege.
Yeah. And you don't know of your white privilege. Like, that's why you're privileged.
Like, luckily, I'll be extremely honest. Like, when I was watching like Charlie Kirk before he was shot, and like I was just seeing how reckless people were, like when they were just showing up to the mic, trying to speak their mind in an extremely rude way, like trying to prove a point about white privilege and shit. Like, and I was like, thank God we don't have that fucking problem here. And part of it why we don't have the problem is because we preserve the culture. Like, we don't, like, we're not, let's say, Germany, right, or UK, where we have extremely aging population. As a result, there's nobody paying taxes anymore, and somebody needs to be paying taxes. Basically, let's just fucking throw in a bunch of immigrants and they're just be compliant, pay taxes, and we'll just fucking ruin the nation. And the nation is no longer going to be called fucking UK, but it's going to be something else. It's going to be, I don't know, UAE 2.0. I mean, it's, you get my point. Like, you need to allow immigration to the point where, like, you can absorb that, right? If you can't absorb that amount of, like, what was it, 10 million a year in US?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
but it always needs to be regulated.
Sure, yeah.
I was never against immigration. I was against illegal immigration, as in, and it's also the second thing that, at least maybe, let's say, in my stupid mind, when I'm thinking about going to a country, moving to a country, okay, I'm moving to that country, I'm adapting to it.
You go the legal. First of all, you go the legal route, right? You're not breaking the law, because that was like the funny thing with like Charlie Kirk. Like, like they were asking like he was asking the students like what should be the punishment for somebody who breaks the law. They're like sent to jail, deport, whatever. And like then he was asking the question, what should be the punishment for an illegal immigrant? Yeah, but they come here for like a living, for a better lifestyle and whatnot, but they already broke the law. Like if you take people that are waiting in line that go the legal way, it's kind of unfair, right? If you talk about fairness, it's unfair to those people to like just break the law like that. It's like also it's like fucking it's like I'm going into breaking into your apartment uninvited and I'm just here, you know. Let me just like
We can.
how about you share your food with me, you
Yeah,
know?
but that even this stuff is real because people that got their properties kind of
Yeah.
trespassed upon,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can't kick them out because they don't have a house or a home or whatever. Even legal way, it takes like up to a year, which is also funny. How is this even possible for somebody to just come illegally into your house and you can kick them up?
Yeah, you have it's funny how it works in the US. You have states where just for trespassing and asking a question you get the fucking shotgun thrown at your face and almost killed to death, and then you have states where you're fucking abused to death and you can't say shit. It's funny, but at the same time it's interesting that like I don't know, when I look at the United States, I wish our nation had more of that ballsy fucking behavior
Yeah, but we
where
don't
you can
have.
just say whatever the fuck you want and you can do it actually as the peoples.
I think they went just because they had weapons and went through all the revolution and stuff. Maybe you could say it's in their blood, but
It's
I
also
don't
in the
know.
Constitution. Yeah.
Yeah, but we also will have to see for the next few years what's going to happen because I don't want to say that I want them to fight for injustice
You
when
want who to fight for injustice?
American people
Yeah,
when they
yeah.
see it. I want them to fight for injustice, but it's I want also to see is that how much they can be pushed until it's enough because it's happening for quite a while. It's been happening and they are doing kind of nothing, and it's even.
At least at least they like weren't deprived of the right to carry a gun, right? Because it wasn't always the case in Europe that you weren't allowed to have a gun as like a way to defend yourself against a tyrannic type of government or just a self-defense type of way. Whereas nowadays they just fucking took everybody's guns. It's forbidden and you can't say shit. If you say shit, then you're pro-Russian propagandist and whatever the fuck the label is. And you like yeah, you're either part of the camp or you're against the camp. And then if you're against the camp, you're most likely coming from Russia, you're subsidized from Russia, you're pro-Russian and all that stuff. I don't know. Like we're a small player, we're a small country, and with small countries, you're supposed to do smart politics. When you're a big player like the US, like Russia, like everybody else, you can just deal with the other big players. You can just I don't know. You can I guess divide things, make arrangements and shit. It's a different kind of
Art of
politics.
war.
Yeah, it's true art of war, art of diplomacy, I would say. I really love how China does diplomacy, to be honest. Like they're patient, calm.
Did you see that they've been buying land in the US?
Not in the US, like
No. They've been buying land in
I
US.
think they're trying to fix the fucking trade war. Because
Could be.
because Trump's been fucking them with tariffs and shit. And they're like, okay, let's maybe go build factories and shit,
Yeah, but
create jobs.
yeah, but also workers have sold Samsung stuff, kind of Samsung secrets to Chinese government. Did you see that?
Yeah, China's is always interesting because US kind of hates China, and then yeah, but what I was trying to say is the level of diplomacy China has is something to be envied. Like the way they deal with conflicts is crazy. Like they don't escalate. They're patient. They mind their own business, and then they fucking show up with their like like back to the fucking RAM apocalypse. I'm wondering if there's going to be a competitor to Micron, Samsung, and what was the other one? Like the three big,
SK Hynix
yeah,
and
the
Micron.
Hynix, Micron, and Samsung. Like, is there a competitor to them?
As far as I'm aware of, I think China is kind of currently trying to do some stuff.
Yeah, I heard China's doing some stuff, but the hard part about like building factories, it's not as easy to, because it takes at least 2 to 3 years to build a factory with such high precision when it comes to like, because it's not easy to manufacture DRAM, right? You need a lot of like you need high precision equipment,
Machinery,
pipelines, machinery, stocks, people. You need testing facilities, all kinds of processes in place, right?
R&D, etc. You need all of this.
Yeah, you need at least 2 to 3 years. That's what I've been told in order to open new factory. Let alone fucking keep up with the demand, the market demand, which is quite crazy lately. So yeah, like before we have a competitor, I guess, but I was always open to the idea of buying like cheap, because I think I bought like a fucking M.2 from was it Temu, like a fucking Chinese. It was extremely
A
cheap.
Chinese demo
It was extremely cheap, and it fucking worked.
for 10 hours.
I'm like, no, it seriously worked, and I'm like, all right, if it works, but why not? You know, like why would I fucking buy that from the US when the prices just skyrocketed so much?
I would say if it's something that they can guarantee quality, maybe people will buy more.
Yeah, I mean that's the primary reason I've been buying until this point, because you can't really like when it comes to like storing your data. I mean, RAM is, I guess, fine. If it dies, just buy a new one. But like with SSDs and stuff, because I'm storing their data and I don't want my data to be lost. And then because I was trying to save like 20, $30 and shit, I just lost my data because of that.
Yeah.
Although it's unlikely, because like the thing with Chinese, like we used to have this term, oh, it's Chinese, which was supposed to mean it's bad quality back in the day, especially with the phones, like when the first iPhones came out, and then China tried to replicate that shit, and it was a really bad experience, to say the least. And now you look at China, what they're doing with the phones industry, with a lot of industries, I would say, and you look back and you associated that with poor quality, and you look now and you actually see really good products. I'm not even going to mention the drones industry, which is China was the leader ever since like DJI came out, right? And I tend to believe there will be like a competitor when it comes to the DRAMs as well. And then
They're already, by the way, creating. I forgot the company. They created the first gen video card GPU
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was the performance of a GTX 1660, and now the latest one which they've done, it's a performance of a 4060.
It's only a matter of time.
So
I'm actually waiting for that, because that's gonna disrupt the market and break the monopoly, and it's beneficial for us, the customers.
but the issue that China is facing, at least for currently, is that they are not making their kind of internal chips the same way Taiwan does.
Yeah, the other issue I would say which is even bigger, is geopolitics. Like they're fucked with the tariffs, basically. Like Europe fucks them, America fucks them, and you have the two biggest markets denying your products.
I mean, that's why they're still kind of cooperating with Russia.
Yeah, yeah. It's good and all that you have the cheap workforce, uh, that you have innovation going on, but if nobody's buying your product, are you likely to invest into R&D, into iterations and whatnot? And like all of that is going out the window. Like you only have one chance to make it before Trump comes in and says fuck you, and we're going to increase it to 200%, and you no longer can sell the product.
Yeah, but even before that, there was that kind of thing that China was doing with, I think it was a Canadian diplomat or something, that they were trying to kind of threaten him, and it
Yeah,
was done directly, and the Canadian government was doing nothing to kind of provide safety for this person, because he works for the Canadian government. Chinese government kind of threatened him, and Canada done nothing. it was also kind of funny. So it's interesting the level of influence that China has. We don't know yet, but they also kind of have
Especially with the infrastructure projects they run around like Africa and stuff, where they go just fucking lend a bunch of money, like projects get funded and whatnot, and then the countries like run into the impossibility of payments, basically insolvency and stuff, and they just come in and take it over.
yeah, but they also make it a requirement so that the Chinese people will work.
Yeah, yeah. I
They're
mean, they're not stupid. I'll
they're
say
not
that.
they're not accepting Africans.
True, true,
They
true.
want only kind of, okay, we're coming, we're building, but it's Chinese people.
Of course, there has to be like a server there spying on people and shit like that.
I mean, I think
who's gonna
I was
install it? And
I was about to say that I think my robo vacuum is kind of also spying. I mean, it's the Xiaomi.
you
Come
might
on.
not even know, but your like fucking, I don't know, refrigerator is like being part of like a botnet and shit, contributing to DDoS attacks.
Could be.
Yeah,
Could be.
yeah.
But you have to take a look at the traffic, it uses. Like that guy was checking on his washing machine, and it was using daily 6 gigabytes of traffic for
Yeah,
some
I
reason.
remember the very first days I deployed my first Linux server. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just use like a username and password. It can't be that unsafe. Until one day I tried to log in, it no longer works, and my SSH was broken. And I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll just use private keys.
Delete.
Yeah, and I had to reinstall everything, and that was funny. But yeah, back to this whole drama, because we haven't really dived in. Like, what's your prediction? Like, we're speculating right now, but what's your like prediction? Because a lot of people say it's gonna be at least end of 2027 that we see either AI boom boom or AI bubble go boom.
I would say it depends on the
And
again.
as a result, obviously the RAM prices will go down, everything will kind of settle. Or maybe like a competitor will come up on the scene, as we said.
So there are a lot of factors. Let's say if depends on how easy let's say it is to get new RAM, etc., or the do-it-yourself kind of RAM and whatnot. First thing that I kind of think is going to happen, which Microsoft is already pushing for, is that they want to go the route that everybody's using, kind of Copilot and AI. So your Windows kind of comes pre-installed with everything.
But how the fuck are you gonna use that without RAM in the first place? Like you need
They
a
will
PC.
they
You need a
will
PC
they
in the
will
first
give
place.
you they will literally give you kind of like an interface, kind of box, whatever. You're connected to internet and that's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you will have to just kind of rent your computer.
Yeah,
Everything will be sent through Wi-Fi, kind of internet. You won't have anything
But
kind
you
of
need an
locally.
interface in the first place, like a fucking interface to interact with that
So
cloud
it's like,
service.
yeah, so it's like a Linux something whatever custom thing with 1 gig of RAM. You don't need more.
Because I think I've seen like a video today where they were talking about the Steam Deck.
Maybe Steam Machine.
Like no, they were talking about the Steam Deck and the fact that they haven't announced the price for a reason. And the reason being that they initially planned for higher specs, but after the whole fucking RAM crisis spiked, now they're kind of concerned that the specs will be lower in order to make it affordable and in order to actually go for it.
They should have just gone the route of because it was already said it by another guy. They should go by the route of just shipping this thing without RAM, so you're bringing your own RAM.
About shipping it without RAM, I was wondering at some point if this goes out of hand, which might happen. Will Nvidia start producing their chips without DRAM and then just fucking selling them without it, and then you kind of need to buy it on your own?
They are already doing that, by the way.
Really?
They are so they have a quantity of RAM. I don't know how much, but they used to give to their third parties, as in Zotac, MSI, Gigabyte, and etc. All those subsidiaries that are building kind of those custom NVIDIA GPUs, they were giving them the chip with RAM. but now they're giving them just the chip. So basically, the subsidiaries, they have to get their own kind of RAM.
Yeah, that's kind of the implication, because if it gets too expensive to the point where it no longer makes sense for you to handle the logistics of it, because it's a mess. Everybody is trying to secure as much RAM before it fucking gets out of hand. Then yeah, why not just fucking remove it out of, like, you're maybe gonna cut a little bit of the price, but at the same time, who's gonna fucking, like, it's gonna be easier for you to streamline the process if you don't have to deal with the stupid logistics to get the RAM in the first place and put it.
I would also hope, by the way, that people go back to their old tech. I
I,
mean,
I heard
they have. I mean, just think about it. You can have a old 6-7 year old laptop. You just put it, let's say, Linux on it, and you just run with it.
I heard people are gonna go back to their DDR4s.
Yeah,
To
they already
repurpose.
do. They already implement some kind of like adapter,
Yeah,
DDR4 to DDR5.
interesting.
So
What's the performance on that?
and they also, I mean, you have 3200 megahertz,
Yeah,
so it's not the same level as a DDR5, but it runs fine. They also did the adapter for the laptop RAM to DDR5 PC.
yeah, I don't know, man, but 2026, a lot of people say it's gonna be the year, like the new year, new me bullshit. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, get ready for quite an adventure. And
No,
yeah,
it will be quite a ride for computer and tech. It will be. So if
we'll see if it's gonna be the AI boom, as people love to put it, or if it's gonna be AI bubble being popped.
but it's also interesting how it even works, that the same the everything kind of the getting the chips of RAM beforehand for the data centers that don't even yet exist, with money that they don't even yet have, for AI processing power that is not even yet existent, as in all
It
of it is
reminds
like.
me. It reminds me of the fucking Evergreen when it got stuck, and everybody was kind of stuck because that shit was stuck.
But again, it's also interesting how all of this kind of unexistent money is being thrown out from one company to the other, even though they don't have it. So they
It's
kind
it's
of
it's all
artificially
greed.
inflate everything.
It's all fucking greed, and it's gonna blow into somebody's face. It, like, the question right now is who's holding the needle, so that it pops the bottle. Because somebody fucking owns them, and like somebody is dictating the terms. I even saw that fucking when like all the G's met up, like Zuck, Elon Musk, Jensen, like
Jensen Huang.
Jensen Huang, and a bunch of others. Like, they all met up, they smoked some cigars and whatnot. I wonder what the fuck was that about. I wonder if they already fucking knew this is gonna happen.
But I think the thing that with at least OpenAI is he's doing all this stuff beforehand with unexistent money, because they kind of, maybe they know something that is gonna pop, but we're not gonna know about it.
Sure, yeah.
And again, if this happens, it's not like we are going to make money. Somebody, all of them, they are going to make a lot of money.
Nvidia getting into military should tell you everything about what the future holds.
Gotta get that stocks for military, man.
True. Somebody's gonna pay for this shit. It's gonna be us primarily, because we
But
no longer get to
we are
enjoy.
already doing it. That
Yeah, we no longer get to enjoy the free markets and like getting stuff for a low price, affordable price, and whatnot, because the demand is so high, and then the American power grid doesn't support all their applications and whatnot. Somebody's gonna not have electricity even. Yeah.
But by the way, about electricity, there was that lead scientist that he was working on some new kind of energy kind of source that was assassinated. You know that?
No.
He was the lead scientist for plasma. He was studying plasma and how to use it to generate energy, and he was assassinated, I think 2 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks ago. Insane
Strange
stuff. The leading guy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you have Europe, who's fucking incapable of innovating, and you have America with a shitty power grid with a huge ambitions. Yeah, I don't know, but I am very keen to watch what's gonna happen in 2026. It's gonna be quite a ride. I'll say that.
It will be a crisis. I mean, we were kind of feeling it, but it will be kind of. It won't be the same as it was with the COVID stuff. It will be harsher, but we at least I can say how much harsher it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting better times anytime soon. Every fucking year is just gonna be worse and worse and worse. I hate to break it to you, but that's how it's gonna fucking be, right? Like you can't expect better
Stop
times.
spending money.
Yeah, like the best thing you can fucking do is be ready. Like prepare your ass for what's about to happen. But some shit is gonna happen for sure.
Move into a forest somewhere.
Yeah, or move to Moldova. It's not too bad. We have good food, good wine. Speaking of wine,
Speaking of wine,
what are your expectations for 2026?
the
Have,
thing
have
is,
you managed to buy enough stock of whatever, like RAM?
stock of whatever. I was actually in talks. I haven't yet bought it, but I'm thinking of buying a good price. It's still a good price for a computer, kind of a custom computer from a guy.
Yeah.
And it's 64 gigs of RAM. It's RTX 5070 Ti with 9950 X3D. So it's a pretty kind of good machine.
You know what's funny? That it's cheaper to buy like a fucking Samsung T7 SSD than to buy a SATA SSD, which has a lower fucking write speed, lower read speed. And the only fucking reason that one is more expensive is because you can plug it in a server. And
They
you can
want
plug
to-
in like anything that's sort of flexible, pluggable, plug and play type of shit is just more expensive.
By the way, also the Samsung wants to discontinue the SATA SSDs.
Really.
Yeah, they want to cut it off. So
I'm not sure if that's the right term. They just want to fucking sell it for a higher price to the businesses.
No, they want to. No, they want to. So I'm not sure. I think they just discontinue it to sell SSDs more. Regular
I was not
SSDs.
even looking for like Samsung. I was more looking for like SanDisk. And I remember I was buying like 2 terabyte SSDs for like 120, and now it's like almost 400.
Yeah,
It's like fucking crazy, man. Like,
but this also happened because the rumor got out.
yeah, like it's this fucking vicious cycle where, like, yeah, there's higher demand, higher prices, but then there's also more fucking panic out there. And there's like panic from customers, but also panic from data centers because they want to kind of have.
You mean customers as in regular people, or also Lenovo?
It depends how you
etc.
define like customers. Like you have like small customers, the most basic ones, where you have like your regular John Schmo at home building their PC, and you have data centers, like smaller data centers, bigger data centers.
Yeah,
like
but there are also the players of laptops, pre-built computers.
True, and then there's the
consoles.
middleman. There's the let's put them as third parties. Like even like the RAM you buy, right? All the RAM you buy out there, you typically buy from primarily free like manufacturers, which is Micron, Samsung, and Hynix.
Hynix, yeah.
Yeah, so every other manufacturer like Crucial, like HyperX, like
Yeah, it's all under them. It's
just they're just packing it for you. So whatever the price is gonna be, they're just gonna they're just gonna transfer the price to you basically.
But they're all jumping the ship for AI. They want this AI hype. They want it.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, like I've been fucking against this whole trend of AI boom ever since, and now the fucking RAM apocalypse just makes it even worse.
But did you see, by the way, the stuff that currently the most popular videos on YouTube are AI slop? Did you see that?
I'm not.
They're making the most. They're making the most money, and and it's the AI slop. It's just
When you
kind
say AI slop is like AI trash talking and shit.
just AI generated stuff. Nothing real.
Generated stuff.
AI generated stuff. Nothing real, and they make the most money.
How the fuck is that possible?
I
I
mean,
thought it's the other way around. Like
No,
people
no, no.
want people want to connect with people more.
No. They are the most. They generate now the most money.
Isn't like YouTube making any like?
They're not
'Cause
getting.
I think YouTube had like some kind of like like community guideline and whatnot.
Yeah,
Where
they don't give a shit.
that's strange.
It's currently that it's not kind of harmful.
But what kind of AI generated content?
You mean as in just kind of made up stuff that
Is it like
looks funny?
fully AI generated, or more like
Fully.
augmented, like
100% fully
like
generated.
some kind of B-roll and stuff like that?
No, 100% generated. As in some whatever kind of imaginary stuff out of whatever.
I guess it depends on
land.
the genre. Like you can't fucking generate a podcast, right? You can't, like, there are certain topics which you would never be able, and people are there in the first place because of the human they're watching, right? So if people are watching this podcast, I would, like, people are coming to watch this because they care about you, about what you want to say, and about the other person and what they want to say, right?
Depending on the
If it's like a fictional kind of, let's say it's a, I don't know, it's some kind of a fiction slash I don't know, novel type of channel where you're just like, I don't know what kind of a channel would that be in the first place.
I would say it
Like
depends on the intellectual maturity.
like what's the genre that
If
these AI,
if it's something like it was like with Tuntun Shakur and all that all together AI slop, then your regular kind of your children will be all up on it.
I still can't make up my mind, like can't wrap my mind around it. Like what kind of content would you be making with that? Because like I can think of
It's just brain rot.
game streaming, I can think of, I don't know, entertainment, I can think of like tutorials which nobody's making
Yeah,
anymore.
but it's brain rot entertainment. That's what it is. It's literally
If it's entertainment, I can indulge that, I guess. But what kind of because I can immediately, like, I can tell you how I operate. Maybe the new generation is a bit different, but how I operate is when I see some AI generated bullshit like this fucking auto-tune voice and shit, my mind immediately wants to vomit because I am sick of all this AI shit.
Again, I would say it depends on the intellectual maturity. I think it's a major factor.
Is it the new generation that's watching this, consuming
Most
this?
certainly. I mean, why do you think all that stuff with Tuntun Shakur and all of that AI slop was popular?
Who
in
the fuck
first
is
place?
that? Because I'm not
Search
even
for it. It's like a stick with a face, and he's getting arrested and whatnot. This is old stuff. This is
So
stuff
is it like
from 6
cartoon
months
and
ago.
shit? Is it like
Kind of
cartoon and
cartoonish stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I know I was in an airplane and I saw like grown up people watching like the, what was it called? The fucking horse, the fucking guy with the horse head.
BoJack.
Yeah, BoJack the
Horseman.
Yeah, yeah. Because when I saw people watch that fucking shit, I'm like, who the fuck watches this?
Trust me, a lot of people do.
And then like
I haven't watched
you mentioned
but they
AI
do.
slop, and I can imagine a lot of, especially the younger generation watching this. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, why would you think Rick and Morty is popular and was popular?
I mean, Rick and Morty is Rick and Morty.
But it's the same. It's the same stuff with BoJack Horseman and all the others. It's just it caters to a specific audience, and they go with it, and that's it.
Yeah. So you're saying a lot of that stuff is AI generated nowadays?
Yeah. So that's and their top channels. Their top channels that generate the most money. It's AI stuff.
Is that like an idea for like how to make money in 2026?
I mean, you
stop fucking writing software.
You could do it, but then again, I don't know what's the. I guess you can just look how are they doing it, and you can try and copy that.
Yeah, because the thing with like all of this AI demand, right? Like, let's build a lot of data centers. Let's fucking monopolize the entire fucking hardware market so nobody can fucking buy RAMs, GPUs, and whatnot anymore.
Even phones.
Just so that fucking people are able to generate stupid cartoons faster.
It is.
And more affordable.
It actually is. It's and then again, just think about it. A whatever AI slop being generated burns quite a little bit of energy. So
yeah, like, what's your thoughts on like is gonna like owning hardware at home especially if you
It's gonna
deploy.
be a luxury, 100%.
What's your time frame? Like what are you giving it? Are you giving it like 2-3 years before that becomes a luxury? Should people invest in BMWs or Lambos, or just fucking say fuck it, let's buy
I would say people should invest
let's
in.
buy a petabyte of RAM?
I would say I would say people should invest in Lockheed. What are they called? That
Lockheed Martin?
yeah. In
I mean, industrial complex has always been profitable,
Yeah.
especially nowadays.
always investing into weapon manufacturing.
But yeah, like the more I see what the fuck is going on with the AI boom, with the prices going up, like only one question in my mind. Like, remember the times when the cloud, like AWS, was just making waves and shit, and everybody was promoting the cloud. It's somebody
Yeah.
else's computer. Like, why fucking manage everything when you can do it on your own? And then you see a bunch of companies like for instance, David Heinemeier Hansson, the creator of Ruby on Rails, the cloud exit and whatnot. You see a bunch of companies trying to exit the cloud because it's way too expensive. I'm just wondering, and I'm not sure I've seen any updates of sorts, wondering what's going to be the pricing when it comes to cloud in particular, especially around the more memory intensive applications.
Currently, it's not that expensive. You can do it on Google Cloud, on AWS. You can train
So
your
they haven't increased their pricing, you're saying?
not too much, but they will. They will. That's how they usually start. They start with small, and when they know that they can milk you, that's when they bump it up.
Yeah, because you have a bunch of big clients, right? And it's not like overnight you're gonna fucking move all of your data from AWS to whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Usually, if let's say if they were open source, right, or with the mentality where we value the customer, and if you want to move, you can move it freely, right? The data is accessible and you can just get it out and whatever. But that's not what they are doing.
Yeah, the
Usually it's all
mentalities.
behind of whatever kind of obfuscation and kind of standards and whatnot, and you can do it kind of directly with everything.
Yeah, the mentality is, hey, look how easy it is to get in the cloud.
Yeah.
How easy it is to even port your data to our cloud. Try fucking getting out.
And then they usually, what they do, they get you with first year, oh, you're a small business, it's cool, we get you, come here. And then your second year, let's say you're one of the lucky ones and your app
They don't even
starts
give
flying
they
and
don't give a
whatever.
they don't even give credits to all business. Like, because I remember I worked for like a gaming studio, right? And I was like, we were lucky enough to have a guy in the position of the CTO who had some connections at Google, and they granted us like 100K credits. So we were just burning money on fucking Windows servers. Most of the money went to fucking Windows license before we decided to switch the game server, to like ditch all the dependencies on Windows and switch the game server to Linux, which gotten a lot cheaper to both build as well as ship, as well as not pay for the license. But yeah, like not all startups will get those credits for free, even as you said in the first year. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a bit afraid and concerned about like when that milking is gonna come to, when the chickens are gonna come to roost, as they say.
But that's also, by the way, that's also interesting you mentioned Windows, and I have my kind of own uh, experiences with Windows
Yeah,
is such a good platform. We love it, it's
in quotes.
yeah.
No, I really love what they did with WSL. I had to give my MacBook to somebody else. I'm like, okay, I need to switch to Windows, not fun and whatnot. I need to install all the bullshit software. And then I tried WSL, fucking amazed. I really love that you have all the gaming infrastructure. You can play games, you can do whatever. But then you also have Linux, and it kind of works beautifully. Well, with some quirks, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's also the other side that they're not telling you, that they're moving a lot of apps to the web-based app kind of. So you're kind of legacy. I mean, the native Windows applications are not native Windows application, but they are kind of web based,
Yeah,
browser based.
I think I've seen that, and a lot of people complained about the fact that they have a lot more resources in terms of hardware, but their system performs worse because of that web uh, transition, you could say.
I compared the 11th Windows with the 10th. The Explorer is faster on the 10.
And my question to that is, because of this whole AI boom and then RAM apocalypse and then basically shortage of hardware, right? Are we gonna see a transition period where, let's say, platform engineers maybe are forced to develop apps and write software in a more efficient way, try to make use of resources in a more efficient way because it's more scarce nowadays?
It should
let's
have.
say let's say a game, for instance, right? Until this very point, still to the point, a lot of the game just use insane amount of fucking GPU and RAM and CPU, and it's just incredible how unoptimized some of them are. But they can afford to do it because you have so much of it, right? But if you get to the point where it's no longer, as you said, it's a luxury to have that hardware at your home, then maybe they are forced to optimize their software to the point where it's playable, where it's actually usable, right?
Maybe the issue is in the kind of managerial process. You have a lot of managers that don't do nothing, and you have all of those kind of workers that, we need that feature, but there is the core features that are not optimized, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
need to make it pretty, not make it functional. So maybe there's also issue in that, but I think it's more based on the hardware we have. The kind of optimization comes second or third or fourth.
Yeah, that's true. Like, because, like, the thing is, it's gonna be a hard stop. It's gonna be a rough journey for a lot of people trying to go from, okay, we got so much affordable hardware to now where it's extremely expensive and kind of limited, and then people no longer have the opportunity and optionality to upgrade to the latest version of whatever because it's kind of expensive, because the data centers and AI companies made it expensive. And as a result, people are not upgrading. As a result, you have high quality games, but they're also demanding.
It could be, but it also could be that because let's say they are going to rent,
Yeah.
it will be kind of like a standard, right? It will be a standard of performance that they need to deliver. So that's not necessarily means they're going to optimize it for the lower end. It's going to be, okay, you need 32 gigs, you get 32 gigs and that's it.
Are we
So
gonna?
so for your 16 it's not going to work because, something is not enough and whatever. So if you're renting that computer with 32, it is going to work fine. But if you have it your own, then you won't be able to. There is also stuff that they might put licenses. So, you can't run it because you're not renting it.
Yeah, I was really concerned because when I seen I think I've seen a video today about, like, in the future you no longer will have your own hardware, but you'll rent your own PC or whatever. That was the title of the video. And I was kind of going for the video and whatnot, and I was thinking, what if, like, we live maybe the last years where we truly own stuff, and in the future the ownership will be restricted, as you said, through licensing, right?
But that's not the only thing. I think we also lived through a more free internet. If you're looking right now at the level of what they're trying to do with digital footprint, right? With whatever Europe is trying to kind
Even
of.
the fucking I'm not sure you heard about CBDCs, like central bank digital coins, where you have not only digital currency but also digital currency that's the only way, like the only legal tender, basically. So not only, like, you can control anything about that. Like, if you have money that's electronic nowadays, you can kind of convert and go back and forth between cash slash electronic bank account money, whatever. But then if you remove the cash option, then you have a bunch of money which can be controlled. People like banks can control what you can buy, from who you can buy, how much you can buy.
They're already doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
Visa and MasterCard, they were already. I'm not sure you heard about it, but there is a group in Australia that
Yeah.
they kind of harassed Visa and MasterCard into regulating Steam and other platforms into not allowing mature games.
Yeah, like I've seen the fucking was it YouTube when they restricted in Australia the I think it was under 16 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but not only that. So as a result of that, basically, Steam was forced to delete kind of mature games, even though there is a filter, right? So if you got your child on this platform, can you watch your child not to see this content and have the filter?
No, you're right. You're right about the whole free internet thing. In
we used to have it, and
yeah, I
and
remember,
now it's going away.
I remember like the times when VPN wasn't a thing because you didn't need it. You didn't need to protect your identity. You didn't need to I don't know to have certain features. Like my biggest issue is not even the fucking let's say kind of content you want to consume, and as a result certain countries take measures like for instance adult content and whatnot, which I'm not a consumer of. My instance is this fucking discrimination that some content is available in a country and it's not available in another country. For instance, YouTube Premium, right? I don't want to fucking see ads, right? I'm happy to pay whatever the fuck the price is, like $120 a year. I don't want to fucking see stupid ads from my country, which are fucking mediocre, stupid, and boring. So I don't want to see that. I'm happy to pay the price. Just allow me to fucking pay the price.
That's why
I can't.
That's why you use VUnstaged.
And
you
I
don't,
can't.
and you don't pay for it.
And I can't. And I just have to fucking go VPN and then fucking bypass the discrimination filter and then be able to buy it basically.
Also, you can use VPN to Albania because in Albania it's illegal to show ads.
Really?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that. So is it like any kind of ads?
Any kind of ads. So if there are no ads in Albania on YouTube, no ads.
That's
so,
fascinating.
So if you have a VPN, you gotta change it to Albania.
Yeah. It reminds me of the fucking time when YouTube did some kind of update, and then all of a sudden, if you had like ad blocker enabled,
yeah,
it would just fucking skip to the end of the video or whatever.
Or it would load 5 seconds slower.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. I don't know. Like I like how it works in my case. I'm like every single time I open the YouTube app, it's like a warning. Ads may still show up, and then there's an OK button. I click OK, ads never show up because it's figuring out that I'm in a different country than the country that I purchased it from. So it's like trying to warn me that you may still see ads and stuff, but I never see ads because it's premium in the end.
My issue, by the way, with YouTube Premium at least is that even though you have Premium and you want to watch something in the background, that shit is closing when you're trying to swipe it to see it in the background.
Yeah, that's
sometimes it's
weird.
not playing it.
Sometimes it's not playing it, then you open the app and then move it back in the background. It kind of works again, or reopen the app
until it doesn't. So
it's a bit quirky. Yeah, I agree with that.
They have to fix this shit.
Yeah. Maybe let's go back to software engineering a bit.
You want to go back to Rust? All the code in for Windows to Rust?
I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because C# is kind of the thing in Microsoft, which is the reason I never liked Microsoft, but not only because of that, because it's just fucking Microsoft and everything they touch kind of rots.
Would you by the way work for Microsoft?
I mean, why the fuck not? If they give me enough pay, why not? And if, again, as an engineer, I like to do purposeful work, right? I like to see my contribution take some kind of results, be fruitful through some kind of way, right? I don't just want to be a monkey. And what a lot of what you see nowadays is monkey job, where you see people push stuff like LLM their way into their job, and then just fucking LLM the way every fucking day, right?
Yeah, but
They
even
write
working,
code with AI. They never fucking like. I know people that write their code with AI. They don't even care to remove the complementary comments which ChatGPT adds. The code doesn't even fucking compile. The tests are broken, and they just push it. And they don't even ask for reviews. They ask for approval. Hey, can you approve this, please? Because I think I've done a good enough job by copy pasting this stupid code which doesn't even work, and I want to waste your time by asking you for approval.
you
And
gotta ask ChatGPT to review it and then send it back.
yeah, like fucking build like why the fuck do you even get a salary for?
No, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
At least for those ones, you can ask ChatGPT, "Can you review it?" Don't even watch it.
And he's gonna say, Great job, great job. That's a great question." I like that ChatGPT is like the biggest motivational speaker. I'll say that. Like, there's no such thing as a stupid question, as a wrong thought, and any kind of that thing.
Well, if you want to kind of have this thing for masses, which come on, censorship is being pushed everywhere.
Yeah, try to ask ChatGPT what is a woman. Or
That is a good question.
try to ask DeepSeek. Mm,
Tiananmen Square.
is the Communist Party?
Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, is the Communist Party the worst or the best or whatever? Like yeah, that's the part that I don't like about these models is they have bias. And yeah, like whoever trained the models have put that bias into them. And I guess you can do most things. It depends what you're using it
You
for.
gotta. That's the thing. That's the thing when it comes back to you have computer. You run your own uncensored model with everything you need. So you have
That's
your
if
own.
you train your own model.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of like myself included, I'm running Olama and I run a bunch of open source models. Open source to a certain extent, of course, because if you read like the Llama license, it's a very interesting license. Like you're allowed to use it for any kind of applications as long as it doesn't go above 500 million users or whatever. I guess they're trying to protect against another social media competitor.
But it's fine. I think you can manage.
But it's extremely good value. Like it's extremely good value, a very good fucking model. I'm using it for quite a few things. You know, I'm happy. Like, don't get me wrong. I love automation. I love AI. I love all the things it gives me. I just don't like all the stupidity that's going in the same package with it. All these fucking experts online trying to teach you AI this,
Use
AI
this
that.
prompt. It will
Use
do
this
everything.
prompt, and you're gonna get this beautiful image, or you're gonna build an app in I don't know, fucking 5 minutes, and everything is gonna be cool
It's
and
like
wow.
it's like that. It's like that. What's I forgot her name. It's like a Claude lead researcher or whatever. She used the latest version of Claude and
Lovable shit.
and she said that they were working on that solution for a year, and she used Claude for an hour, and it gave her the same solution that they were working for a year. And the secret sauce is that she literally kind of pinpoints the details. It gives the details to this AI, so of course it will get to that
I would
solution.
love to see these solution battle tested, where you have a person who's fucking just prompting back and forth, just small context. Hey, I want to solve this problem. I want to solve that problem, and kind of augmenting AI in their workflow, versus where you have a super automated team of AI agents and shit like that. And I want to see how much fucking babysitting you're going to do in the second case versus in the first case, where you're kind of inefficient, quote unquote, where you're doing more things on your own, where you're using your brain actually, which is what you're supposed to do in the first place. I want to see the difference in I don't know, performance, in what kind of productivity boost you're getting in the second place, and versus how much actual babysitting you're doing, and how much more stupid you become.
But it's I think it comes down to the experience of the person using the AI. Is that
That's my problem, because
let's
like
say
I don't have I'm not against experienced people, seniors using it, because it's only gonna make them more efficient, right?
yeah.
But when you see a bunch of mediocre people, to not give them like a worse compliment, using it and claiming that you, the expert, are inefficient because you're actually fucking using your brain, that's my issue with it. Like, yeah, of
But
course I'm gonna use it for.
but again, the latest version reached that in an hour because she gave him the details. So if she was an inexperienced person and she would try to reach that conclusion, I don't think she would have.
And then I'm gonna be like, okay, smart pants, now change the small thing with your fucking lovable or whatever the fuck you're using. Let's see how fast you're gonna do it with your expertise and whatnot.
A week or two.
like that's my problem with it, right? I I'm not saying it's a bad thing it happened to us, right? We don't even know the full capability and what's going to happen in like the next 5 years. Maybe what we're going to do is no longer going to be relevant and whatnot, right? At the same time, like, I hate trends. I hate when this is being I hate stupid marketing. Like, the good thing about marketing is you can make a lot of people really stupid and be acceptive of whatever bullshit you're shoved. Like, remember the Web3, how everybody was talking about non-fungible tokens and how
Yeah.
the internet is becoming more.
The next thing, the next big thing, only you can have this JPEG or whatever, and then you're
Yeah,
downloading it for
and a
free.
lot of people got scammed. A lot of people got into, like, yeah, it makes sense to some extent, but at the same time, looking at the AI boom, yeah, it's not like that. It lasted a lot longer, and I'm wondering what's going to be the limit of it, right?
But I think it's even more important to go right now over the basics than it used to be.
Yeah, because
As in going through understanding what the computer does, how it reads, how it manages the information, and everything. Then just, oh, it's AI. Let me go through the LLM and do
would
whatever.
you say is more important to have understanding of basic concepts because a lot of people have no idea what the fuck AI is doing for them?
Yeah, it's also interesting. I mean, even getting down to understanding what is the current AI, what we have right now, that is just predicting the next word. And I also spoke again around a few weeks ago that I think OpenAI and other trying to push in this direction. It's still, I don't know when it kind of it's hitting a wall which you can kind of get past it because they're looking at something that cannot reach through AGI. This is I think that your LLMs, your current model, will not reach AGI.
I would say they're first of all hitting the power grid wall, then the compute wall. Those are the two walls they need to get passed by before we even talk about AGI.
But even then, I don't think it's the same thing we have currently with your applications. Giving it more resources doesn't going to make it more
Yeah, that's my
smarter.
point. Even if they had infinite amount of compute, I still don't believe in AGI.
It's like they're digging in the wrong kind of direction. When if you want true AGI, you need to shift. If let's say you want really want kind of artificial intelligence, when you're asking it and it's able to, let's say, meditate, right? It's able to not only kind of uh extrapolate but also interpolate, create something really new. Not that, oh, you gave me a bunch of stuff and I'm just blurting it out, the same kind of thing but changed a little bit.
I don't know. To my mind, it's always going to be inferior. I'm always going to feel like I can smell bullshit. I can smell AI. And yeah, to even mention something funnier, I was uh, I was texting some person like, "Hey, XYZ, I want to invite you to the podcast and whatnot." And I received back a reply. It was in Romanian, and it contained all the diacritics. It contained, like, it was extremely elevated. The message was quite long. And I'm looking at that and I'm spotting this fucking long dash.
Which is AI.
And I'm spotting the fucking apostrophe, which is not the regular
Yeah.
apostrophe which comes from the keyboard when you type it. And I'm like, dude, come on. Couldn't you fucking type the message yourself with the fucking mistakes? I would have accepted the no. That's fine. It's not the first time I get rejected, you know? But when you see people use AI for that, it's like where does this lead us, right?
I think it has AI is good for stuff that corporate language. Come on, it's really good for that.
Yeah, corporate language,
it has
official messaging and stuff.
There are all those kind of interesting terms in corporate kind of work environment that you kind of
Struggle with.
you not only struggle with, but if you want to not be direct, because if you are direct, it's not usually kind of
Not professional.
taken really well, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you're not serious, or oh, it's not good behavior, and etc. So it, in order for you to be looked at something that professional, then you gotta be, oh, you know, you haven't done something wrong.
Yeah, but who is the
It's
message addressed
etc.
to? Like my problem with it is if people read the message and the message is supposed to be authentic and all the fucking messages are written by AI, who the fuck are we writing the messages for? Are we targeting people? Maybe we should fucking write bots. Hey, I'm gonna write a fucking AI agent who's gonna translate the corporate language into more ghetto language. What the fuck does this person actually meant when he wrote me this fancy professional corporate language message, you know?
Yeah, but that's also the thing, that it's also interesting to see where it all started with all this obfuscation of truth, you know. It's somewhere along the way with all the papers, and you gotta look presentable, and it's not allowed for you to be direct, and etc.
Yeah, but it had its purpose back then when, let's say,
and it still has
people only relied on their skills.
Yep, and it still has it now. Because again, if you're having a meeting with shareholders and clients and whatever, it's not allowed for you to be direct to say, what you're asking of me, it's impossible, right?
I would require video only proof. I want to see if this fucking person actually said that and they actually meant that. Or maybe they didn't mean it, but they said it at least. They didn't text it using an LLM.
Yeah. And so it goes down to all of those hoops, you know. We don't want to scare away the client. We don't want to scare away the shareholders. We don't want to create panic. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. And it's also comes back down to censorship and etc. Because you have all those people that it's not necessarily, you can call them kids, but it's like adult kind of kids, you know. It's
Yeah, but in the process you're no longer talking to people, you're talking to machines. You're effectively reading what a machine has generated for you.
But it also helps convey into this kind of language that you did not learn.
It's like porn in a way.
Eh.
Like the real thing is not as perfect as it's advertised, but at least it's real. But you have this thing which is extremely perfect, uses corporate language, everything is correct, spell checked and whatever, and it's like, where's the human element there, you know?
Yeah, but I would say this also, there is this part, you can say that there is this part, but at the same time I'm looking more from the perspective of normal people that never understood the HR language.
Yeah,
that all the kind of by the book, you know. It's for somebody to be part of this community, right, to be part of this culture, they need to understand or have a level of intelligence, right? But let's say for you those words are too complicated, and I do mean it, because you have simpler words to describe stuff. You don't necessarily need a lot of kind of, it's called double speaking, all of those kind of complicated words, when in reality you just say a simple one.
just say what the fuck you mean.
Yes, just what do you mean, and not can you elaborate, can you, etc. So I'm looking from the perspective of AI as a translation for this stuff, right?
To bridge the gap between like the
Yeah, to bridge the gap between a language which it's kind of, it's English but it's not in English, and it's kind of more intellectual and whatnot, because they would kind of, if you look at the elites, they would usually try to use bigger words and try to convey that, oh, I'm superior to you,
yeah,
look at
I don't
me.
know, man. Like I tend to respect people with a simpler language, and typically when you speak to somebody and they have an extremely simple language,
Because
that
that's how it should
speaks
have been.
that speaks of their intelligence and the fact that they actually understand all the concepts to the point where they understand that using big words will complicate things and will make people
That's how
say what the fuck are you saying
that's how
actually.
it should be. That's how it
Yeah.
should be, because when you start kind of hiding behind those words, I think the meaning is getting lost. When you start kind of getting all of those big words, then it's not about being human, I would say, to a degree. And it's one thing literature, right? It's one thing literature, it's one thing writing not stories and also poems, right? It's one thing about it, but at the same time you kind of
You lost
you need to speak human,
Yeah,
right?
you lost
If
the human element, the human, like when I read anything, the first, like the very first thing I'm looking at is who wrote it, right? I want to find out who wrote it, and do I connect or do I not connect with that person? Do I connect with them on the intellectual level, on the emotional level, on, I don't know, creational level and whatnot? And then I start to like that person. I start to empathize with that person. Maybe I don't agree with everything they say, but at the same time it's a person who's saying things, who has their own opinion, instead of a fucking machine which aggregates everything that's politically correct and beautifully written and whatnot. And I'm supposed to like that. I'm not sure, man. I'd rather not like somebody than have everything said in a proper form, written the proper way. I'd rather read mistakes. I'd rather read stuff I don't necessarily understand than everything making sense to me and everything being politically correct, you know?
yeah, but to a degree it's also kind of similar to, well, you want to be part of this culture, which is, let's say, IT culture, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to understand those words and whatever.
I don't need to understand shit. I can make my
You
own
need to
rules.
be, or you need to be respectful. You don't
I'm
don't
aware.
be direct, don't do this, don't do that, and etc.
Yeah, I'm aware that as a software engineer, you're not like, especially nowadays, you're like coding is no longer a scarce skill, a skill that like it's privileged as used to be back in the day. Like everybody can kind of code nowadays.
Because it's in a higher kind of the
Yeah,
dimension, you can call it higher level of writing.
yeah, and
It's more easier understandable.
I guess the value nowadays is, I guess you need to work a little bit on your marketing, a little bit on how you speak, a little bit of like wear a little bit more hats than you usually do, have a little bit of more, I don't know, design, like more like have your way a bit more diverse, I would say. And yeah, if you're strictly relying on coding, that's not helping you in the best way, I would say. But at the same time, you also need to maintain a certain level of human element when it comes to doing everything, right? Whether it's coding, writing, novels and poems and stuff like that, wherever it's, I don't know, like anything that's involving any kind of creativity, you should maintain that human element. And I'm actually fighting for it. That's why that's my whole rant about AI, right? I like that it's doing a lot of stuff which is supposed to be automated in the first place. Like you don't want to waste time on stupid repetitive tasks. At the same time, if you've automated everything, including the creative stuff, then like what's the creational aspect of it? Like what am I supposed to enjoy out of this? Isn't it the same shit, just different flavor, different color, different expression?
I would say it has, as an example, I see it being used extensively as some part of, let's say maybe animation, right? You have a frame which you need to do it over and over and over again, depending on, let's say, if it's a 60 FPS kind of, or a 40 or a 30, depends on. I see these kind of usages. I see usages as in driving, right? To determine if it's a car, if it's the road, the signs, and etc. and whatnot.
But that used to be the case before AI even, like have vision and whatnot.
Yeah, but they were also training it based on kind of AI. They were doing it the same they were doing with Teslas. They were doing it kind of on a version of a kind of not directly
The
GPT,
same
but it
neural
was.
networks back in the day. Yeah.
So I see it. I see the use of it extensively like this, right? The same thing as in what I also did is like I did a kind of a project and the kind of the roughly structure, right? Just one route, the router controller, the service layer, the repo layer, everything, right?
Yeah.
And then I ask it to analyze the structure. Okay, now add a new route which does this, and it does it in the style which I kind of create, which it's good, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to boilerplate it. It's good for this stuff. But when it comes to kind of creating something new, I don't I I'm hesitating of using it of that because it blurred some weird ass shit.
Where I draw the line personally is you want to outsource as much noise, as much repetitive slash routine stuff. But if you end up outsourcing your critical thinking, your decision making, and what makes you an expert, an engineer, a creator, somebody who is putting his soul into whatever he's doing, because that's how we gratify ourselves through work, through like what we're doing basically, then you've effectively become useful, uh, in quotes, meaning you're useless and you're no longer any better than the machine, right? The machine can do pretty much what you're doing. And if you're a monkey who's just copy pasting, then your job is no longer a software engineer. Your job is more of a vibe coder slash monkey job worker.
Yeah, but they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it from the perspective, and I know a few people that if I'm not using the AI, then I'm losing because
No, you're definitely losing if you're not using it.
yeah,
I'm not saying you shouldn't use it at all. I'm saying use it, but use it purposefully, right? Know when to use your brain before it becomes useless.
It's also interesting that I've been in October. I've been to Code Camp in Yash, which Code Camp.
Yep,
They
yep.
also do it at Techville here, and there were two topics that I was more interested in. One was the usage of AI in kind of debugging, and as in, okay, this stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
Can you give me ideas, and then you can go over those ideas, right, with critical thinking, not just kind of blindly. And sometimes it literally gives you kind of one of those possible solutions, and you find it because
That's my biggest pain, debugging.
it's because it's good. AI is really good on analyzing the stuff and, let's say, giving you based on this information, right? It's good about this information. It's bad about creating new stuff. It's good with current
I would
information.
argue it's even bad with the existing stuff because a lot of the times it gives you false hope and false ways to look into things. And that's my problem. Like at some point you realize, like, you come to the conclusion it's actually easier to like go through that fucking code yourself to understand how fucking recursion works and actually figure out where the problem is instead of doing like 20 prompts.
Well, that's the thing. You've done the code.
Yeah.
And you're giving him the example to analyze for you. So for you to understand if there is probably memory leakage, or there's probably something missed, or why something kind of doesn't work.
Yeah, but
Maybe
a lot of
there's
the
a
time it
dependency.
spends the time in the wrong fucking place. I'm like telling
It
him,
could be.
hey, it doesn't work because of this. And he's like, yeah, but let's optimize this bullshit. Look, I never fucking asked you to do that.
It could be, but
Yeah.
but you also need to keep in mind the context window.
Yeah.
Whenever possible, change it.
Yeah, whenever possible, just open a new prompt.
Yeah, open a new prompt
Hey,
and
you've told me this before. How about you fucking give me a solution again? I've
no,
been doing this for half a day.
it works. I would say it's in my case I also did that. I would change context and it would get more kind of accurate, and because again it works by remembering sending every time the previous
Summarizing,
context.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it will try to summarize and then it loses kind of key information and etc, which again is not good. So that's why you need to open a new one and maybe do it with that. But again, I'm looking from the perspective of using it with experience you already have, and
How
it's
do you
also
get experience in the first place? Is my question.
well, as hard as it is, it's, I would say, to use minimal kind of AI, not to use it to write code, but to use it to kind of maybe getting to understand theory. It's really good to kind of understanding it, and also it's even more better when it has connection to the internet, because depending on whatever model you use, let's say even 8 billions parameter or whatever level of quantization, if you don't have the connection to the internet, it cannot kind of give you the latest and greatest. So as soon as, let's say you have a dumber model with connection to the internet, and you have your greatest model which can run on whatever 96 gigs of GPU or whatever, that one which is dumber with connection to the internet will give you more accurate information
True, true.
compared to the one which, oh, it's smarter and whatever.
When was the
So
last time you opened the docs, let's say the go.dev docs for anything?
actually it's been a few weeks ago. I
Yeah.
I am I am I'm still opening them and going through.
Because
It's
I see a problem in that. Like even if you have the internet connection, as you said, it's not always going to search for what you think it will.
that's why
And
that's why I particularly try to be as detailed as possible. As in, okay, based, let's say particularly I'm looking for a library for a, or for a particular let's say idea, or for a framework or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to be as detailed as possible. Usually this helps. When you're vague, it tries to guess, which doesn't doesn't really help you. You'll be stuck there with 10 prompts and trying to get whatever you wanted
yeah,
to get,
yeah.
just going directly and finding it. It doesn't work. It doesn't kind of the hassle is too big, so I wouldn't do that.
No, the web search is definitely powerful, especially if you're running your models at home. You need to have some kind of web search because it doesn't have it by default if you're using like the web UI
Yeah.
stuff.
And the next thing at the same code camp was the mention of um, what's kind of the future, right? What's the future with kind of all the AI and etc. Which I think it's also kind of interesting was the idea that because you have the AI writing code, right? There will be a big need of architectures, kind of coding architectures, which you will
A lot of
only
people
do
who
you will only do system design. Basically, you will only do that. You will outweigh kind of pros, cons, and think about tools. Okay, do I need it for this scenario? Which will be better, which will be worse? Why should I go with the open source, or why should I go with this kind of Microsoft one or whatever? And I think that is also kind of a possible scenario for the future. I'm not sure
yeah,
if
but
we'll reach it.
how do we, like, at some point we'll get older, right? Like how do we onboard the new generation of people, let's call them juniors? How do you fucking become mature enough to be able to tell this is good architecture
I
and
would.
this is bad
This is why
architecture?
this is why it's important to go with the younger generation over the experiences you've gained.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons that I was thinking of, let's say, creating kind of courses, free courses. I wouldn't want to create kind of paid courses if it's something that I really worked on, and if it's something really kind of worth. maybe I would think about selling it, and it wouldn't be kind of that kind of expensive. But I would, all the knowledge that I've gained and I would want to share it, I would do it free, because I believe in a free kind of free information.
You know
I'm
what
I'm
the
I'm a free information guy.
you know what the problem with the tutorial thing is? Like people stopped doing it, and I noticed it, and a lot of people complain about it. Like if you check out Udemy, YouTube,
I would
a
start
lot of
doing
people stopped doing tutorials because of AI.
I would start doing it again, only from the perspective of AI not creating anything new and taking what's existing. That's why it needs all the medium articles. It needs all the tech articles that they are being written and being kind of getting out and uh, posted. So there is always a need for this because AI is hungry, unfortunately, and without it, yeah, that
Yeah, if you
it
have
it
shitty data
hallucinates.
which
Yeah,
generates
yeah, it
shittier data,
hallucinates. Yeah, yeah, it hallucinates. So that's why I would, and maybe I mean maybe I will start, but that's why I think and I want to see more tutorials and everything being kind of created and being done, because if you keep on relying on it, and there are, trust me, there are niche scenarios where the AI will not help you at all, even with, again, back to the topic with my ThinkPad laptop. I actually made it work. The only thing what I had to do is get my SSD into a computer or laptop, install Windows on it, get that SSD and put it in the laptop, and it works. You don't need to change the bootloader. You don't need anything. You already have installed Windows on this SSD, and I'm using that. Actually it's a good kind of laptop.
you can obviously use AI for a lot of things, but I would always reserve this element of staying human, of staying creative, of
Sure.
remembering what you're doing it for and what are you doing it even. And like yeah, like try to, as I said, try to make your life better. Not gonna say don't use it. Use it. If you're not using it, you're definitely gonna be losing
I would,
in the long term.
the only reason why I would not recommend it is because it gets information on you. This is the only reason,
It
particularly
depends.
ChatGPT,
Yeah, yeah.
DeepSeek, Gemini, Claude, and whatever. If it's possible to run it locally, I would say to run it locally 100% with connection to the internet.
The problem why people don't run it locally, even if they can afford to do it, is because there's always a better model which is up to date, which you don't need to care
I,
about.
I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think if it connects to the internet and it does what it does, it okay. Maybe it's not as good as GPT-5 or whatever, but it is good. It is as good as GPT-4. Which
Yeah.
again, when GPT-4 came out, everybody was losing their mind. So I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing if it's a little bit kind of an older model. GPT-3 was also kind of revolutionary when it came out. So
Yeah, it's incredible how fast and how far ahead we've moved along what's considered good and what's not as good. But if you look like 2 years ago what we had and now what we have now, it's incredible. But at the same time, like where the fuck are we going? And like what's the direction
but
for
I
2026 at least?
but I still think I still think they're digging in the wrong kind of direction. It's not the real AGI.
Is it gonna pop the bubble at some point?
If it's not, then it means somebody's behind them, as in, because let's say it pops, right?
Yeah.
Then somebody needs to be jailed for whatever, for fraud, for
I am
whatever.
pretty sure SEC is gonna get involved at some point.
But that's the thing. The same thing that happened in 2008,
Yeah.
right? United States bailed who? The banks. They did not bail regular citizens. A lot of people lost their
No,
jobs, lost their house,
of
lost everything.
course the normies will be fucked in the process. That's
So
standard.
so who's gonna win after all of this? You'll see Sam Altman with whatever billions of, if he's not being jailed for whatever reason, for fraud, right? Because he was pushing it, and he would, he's been promising whatever future he was been promising whatever future, and he's been making all of those contracts and
Yeah,
with
but they
different
can always
agencies.
say, "Hey, look, this is how the capitalistic society works. Like, the more demand you have, the higher the price is. As a result, this is not our fault. We had a contract, we had an agreement, and blah blah blah." And you can't really blame it on them, but at the same time, it's also what's incentivized. Like, I'll say it this: like, if you're not ready for what's gonna come, you're gonna be fucked anyway.
You know, it's like that meme of Forbes 30 under 30.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like all of them fraudsters.
I mean,
If
yeah.
it's if you are whatever billionaire and you're under 30, then something's
Like
going on.
SBF.
And not only he was one of them, but there were also other guys that did the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember when everybody was doing videos with SBF, and then the
Yeah.
whole FTX crashed, and everybody was disavowing him, no longer friends, no longer knowing him and shit. It's funny how this works, but I guess we'll have to see in 2-3 years. I
Yep.
I'm not even sure if I want to say that I really want this bubble to pop,
You want to see where it's going to lead?
but I do want to see some people bleed, obviously, because I don't
But
think
it won't be them.
I don't think the tendency at which things go is natural. I think there's a lot of artificial effort put into this. Marketing and shit, people losing their shit and mind over whatever the future is gonna hold and stuff.
Like the Claude CEO pushing for the, oh, you know, in 1 year there will be no software engineers. By the way, he buys the team behind Bun.
Yeah, I've seen the bun. Yeah, I've seen
It's
bun.
oh, we don't need software engineers, and you're going and buying an entire fucking team,
I mean,
and we don't need software
the
engineers.
same thing which
Come on.
Jensen Huang said, like, in whatever time we're no longer going to be writing software.
And then the question, okay, who is going to write your code for your GPUs, my guy?
Yeah, there was a funny meme today. I was watching a video, and then he like took an excerpt from a video where he was saying, like, we no longer can write software without AI. And the guy was like, yeah, that's right. That's why your fucking GPU doesn't work. Or the drivers you wrote are shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that, like, you say you're like gonna remove this engineering aspect, and it's not gonna be as important, but in the process you've introduced a lot of mediocrity, and as a result your product is shittier, and then your customers suffer, and then, like, do you see the disconnect? It's like a circular definition.
But
like
it's but
you're saying we're gonna write better software, but better
But that's the
software
price.
through software that has been written
but
nowadays.
that's the price of the AI. The AI. If you have people that don't know what they're doing, using, it's literally a monkey with a gun.
You have a fucking load of people that don't
And-
know what they're doing.
and that's the thing about it. When all those kind of tools to help you go over the interview process, right, and hack it, oh, we're going to give you the answers, and you're using the AI to write for you the code for whatever, to give you the answer and everything, and the guy's literally kind of, okay, if you can act, you can pass all those interviews. But there were guys using the tool, and they were reading off the screen like a, I don't know, like a poem or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see that their eyes are running all over the screen, kind of just reading, because we also had to, we interviewed also a few guys, and we literally caught them changing windows, and you see the flash.
Yeah, especially when it's like a white, black.
Yeah. And he would just say, that's a good question. Let me just look at. So this is this and this and this and this is that, and you see reading it, not even kind of adding his words or explaining it in his words. He's just reading what AI
But you
blurted it out for him.
can see them typing, because, like, is it picking up your voice?
It's picking up the voice. Yeah.
But what if you have like a shitty accent and it's picking up the wrong shit? Like, what if you have like an
maybe
interview with some
may-
kind of Indian guy?
I think currently the level of AI of speech recognition is pretty good. So I
Yeah.
think it doesn't kind of really matter. I mean,
Yeah.
if only if it's something a dialect, which whatever, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that's my problem with like speech to text. If it picks up the wrong shit, then you're gonna get generated the wrong shit, and then you're gonna voice over the wrong shit, and you're
Because
gonna sound stupid.
because you need to train it, so they are training it based on whatever trillions of hours of contact.
Yeah. I'm not sure where this is going, but I'll just say that it's gonna be more work for us, for the professionals.
100%.
Yeah, like
I think again, AI, this version of AI, is good as it is for people that know what they're doing with it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I don't think AGI is possible with this version. We are looking at prediction. We are not looking at a level of self thinking kind of, organism, digital organism, right? I don't think this is kind of the right basket to throw all your eggs into.
yeah.
It's maybe the next kind of thing that will be kind of the next technology. Maybe it will be AGI, maybe, or the third one after this. But this one is not the one. And all this hype being pushed, it only means that there will be a more need for specialists, I think.
Yeah, I only see it this way. Like, you see a bunch of mediocrity building up, people pushing a lot of shit, and then, oh shit, we actually ran into the problem. Let's hire some professionals to fix our shit.
Even the same example, if we take your regular AI, right?
Yeah.
Just and take a professional Rust developer and just ask AI to write you something. It will write you shit in Rust because why? There is not that much content, right?
Not enough
But
content to be trained on.
yeah, but for JavaScript, it will blurt whatever because there is so much JavaScript kind of
Yeah,
stuff
what I've
out there.
noticed is it's extremely hard to get a job when it comes to front end development and JavaScript in
Because
general.
yeah,
Because
of
of how
the
good this fucking, like, if you take GitHub alone and analyze how many projects are written in JavaScript,
yeah.
it's just that. Like, if you take that alone, the open source projects on GitHub in JavaScript, it tells you everything about how good it is when it comes to front end and how amazing, like what amazing results you can build. And that's why people are bragging about, oh, I built this in 5 minutes and shit like that. But if you like, okay, now fucking build me a backend and make it scalable, make it efficient, make it this, make it that, authentication, support, I don't know, like multiple providers to authenticate with this and that. Like, you see how it breaks real quick.
You know that website where with the JavaScript new framework, how much time has passed until another JavaScript framework?
Yeah, that's always like the framework hell war.
And they actually changed it a little bit, but it used to be that it would literally be 0 days, 0 days, 0 days, 0 days, because every day they would release a new kind of framework.
And it gets absurd to the point where, because it's so good, now you have a bunch of project managers telling you what you're supposed to do because they can LLM their way into, oh, how much time is it going to take to build
Yeah.
this component? Oh, it's going to take this much time because you can do it this way, that way, and that way. And you can't even have, like, even if you're an expert, you're still going to be affected by it to some extent.
Of course.
You'll now have stupid people telling you how to do your job because they have access to ChatGPT, which has relatively good training on JavaScript because it's so much content on it, right? And yeah, I mean, I'm still on of the opinion that the best of us, the specialists, will still have a job to maintain because yeah, like there's so much software being written and somebody has to maintain it, right?
But there's also the thing that with AI, again, it gives you the estimate, but it does not cover for the uncertainty with different factors. What about your client changing every kind of requirement for every, I don't know, every week? It used to say one thing and now it says another, and so on and so forth. So you need to also change.
Yeah, what happened to what was the fucking name of it? Devon? Do you remember that?
It's still existent, but it's kind of under kind of beta whatever. You need to pay 400 or 500 to
Do
use
you
it.
remember how fucking crazy people went about it and they started losing their shit? Because
Yeah, because we're gone. Yeah,
yeah,
we're
we're
gone.
like, okay, now our
But I
jobs
think
are
it's been a
lost for
year.
real.
But I think it's been a year. I think it's been a year from
Yeah,
that moment.
and nobody talks about it. Like, well, everybody forgot about.
Or what about that? It's been 3 years from ChatGPT 3 being released in March of
And they were
was it
making
2022? I think, or 2023. I think I forgot.
not sure about the version 3, but I remember it
The
came.
ChatGPT release. I know the
I think
ChatGPT
it
release.
came in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So we have around 3.5
Either
years.
3 years or 4 years,
Yeah,
something like that.
around that period, right? Yeah, but like I remember when the first version came out and the second version came out, and it got really better. But then when they were advertising the version 3, like it's gonna be fucking revolutionizing the world and shit.
Revolution, Johnny.
And then the fifth version is gonna be AGI and whatnot. And it ended up being actually worse than the previous one.
And then we'll reach GPT 13 and there's still no AGI.
Yeah, like this is crazy. Like I understand the expectations are high, the stakes are also high, the investments are high, and at some point somebody's gonna be fucked. Either investors will lose their money, or yeah, I don't know. But yeah, obviously people will be disappointed. Obviously, there's gonna be to some extent there will be replacements.
100%.
Yeah, I see a lot of people already being replaced. That's why we still struggle for like the job market. If you look at the job market in the IT industry,
The
for
only
instance,
thing, at least the only thing what I can say about it is that you gotta continue learning.
no, definitely, like I would say that's more relevant than ever.
Yeah,
Like if back in the day you were a JavaScript developer
it's not gonna work
and that
anymore.
was enough,
No, it's not gonna work
there's
that
just
anymore.
nothing compared to what you're supposed to learn nowadays.
Because now there are like millions like you just JavaScripters. So
And you don't even know if they're actually JavaScript developers or just fucking LLMs.
yeah,
Yeah. So like you need to have, as I said, to wear a lot more hats, to be a bit more diverse, to study business more, to understand product more.
critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
It's now more than ever. I think it's just with all the level of shit generated, there is no way around it.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of uncertainty, and at some point I was, because like I was also thinking about like, oh, okay, let me do my own course and then sell it and whatnot. But then AI came
I
over.
would say, by the way, if you did
Yeah.
whatever stuff you did, I would say at least to release it on YouTube. Don't leave it for waste. If you don't want to, I mean, if you can't.
And then
sell it.
Udemy now gets bought by Coursera. I'm not sure if you've seen that or not.
Damn.
So Udemy gets bought by Coursera, and I'm wondering, was that because of a lot more of their revenue has decreased because, as I said previously,
People not doing tutorials.
Yeah, people no longer make tutorials because there's LLMs, right? And people can just teach themselves a bunch of stuff through a bunch of prompts, which is fast. It's here. They don't need to leave their. They don't even need to go to the browser anymore.
I think now it's even more important to and create stuff than ever. Learning, creating stuff, and just continuing. It's more important than
Yeah,
ever.
but content creators complain about viewership, right? It doesn't sell
I
as
would
good
say
as before.
I would say it's again, it comes down to whatever AI stuff and whatnot. But there is always the human factor I'm thinking about. There's always the human factor. And maybe again, I'm maybe too optimistic, but I think it matters who you're catering to, right? It's very important to finding your audience and sticking to it. And it's also more important to having a backbone. There are a lot of content creators that are they can't stand by their word and their worldview. So when something happens, they go around, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, I'm so sorry, and
Yeah,
this hurts more. I think
political
this hurts
correctness
more
is fucking killing a lot of
because
good content
because
creators.
usually the most kind of, the people that are pleased with you, they will be the most silent ones, and those that are kind of hate you and they want to catch you on something, they will be the the loudest ones.
Yeah.
So the ones to which you are trying to kind of cater to now, which are the ones that want to ruin you to a degree, will always be unpleased with you. So they would criticize you for whatever reason, and then you would try to say, oh, I'm so sorry, I did not know, and then they will criticize you again. So you knew what you did and you knew what you said, then whatever. And it's never
No,
enough.
that's for
It's never
sure.
enough.
Like especially as a man, I believe in the idea that you should be unapologetic about everything you do and say in this life. Like, yeah, if you made a mistake, so what? I fucking made a mistake. I'll correct next. I don't need to be fucking sorry about you.
Yeah.
And about the fucking haters and shit, I think your haters, I treat my haters as my biggest fans, right? Like they want to see me fall so bad that they have to watch every fucking thing that I say and do, which is funny how it works. In the process, you may end up converting some of them
I,
to
I
actual
I
fans.
would say if it's possible, when you get quite a long kind of list of comments, hateful ones,
Yeah.
I would say make some money off of it.
No, for sure. Like I'm the
Like a
opinion.
compilation or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
no, I'm the opinion that there's no such thing as bad marketing slash bad promotion of anything. And like as long as you, especially nowadays, as long as you get any kind of interaction, attention grabbing of sorts, then that's always going to benefit you no matter what. Like we live in an attention based economy where whoever caters to the most eyeballs, whoever manages to catch the most attention, then that's why data is so valuable. It's like gold because you have data, you have attention, you can target. And as a result, you can throw anything, like you can throw money at that, right?
I mean,
You
if it
can target
guarantees,
ads, you
yeah.
can, I don't know, suggest products people should buy, affiliate marketing and shit. Like there's so many opportunities around just having attention. And having attention means influence. And you have even this concept of influencer, which wasn't even a thing like 10 years ago, right? And it became a thing because people have an opinion online, and then because they have this opinion, people resonate with those people, and then you end up buying shit, liking shit, seeing shit. So yeah.
Well, again, I would say this, at least this is the most important, is finding your audience. If you do that, it's
No, I'm 100% of the same opinion. Like, don't forget you're still human, and people will resonate with what you say based on what you say, as long as it's your opinion, right? As long as it's you the one who's saying it, you're not trying to be politically correct. And again, try to be unapologetic about anything you say or do. Of course you're going to mature over time, you're going to understand certain things, you're going to grow up. At the same time, do you regret saying some shit you said 10 years ago? Fuck no.
I mean, depends, but I would say it's part of being human. You're
Like,
you're learning, you're
no,
growing.
but you're
So
not. The point is, you're not gonna change anything
yeah.
retroactively, right? You're not
Yeah.
gonna go back in time and change how the
Oh,
fucking
sorry,
people,
sorry then. So,
yeah, how the fucking people that are offended nowadays will feel about you, right?
yeah.
You said that shit. It's online, right?
But again, it comes down to, just think about it right now, right? Just think about it. Something is kind of, oh, you can't joke about right now. Just some subject,
Yeah.
and you're making fun of it, let's say 10 years down the road. So wait, it used to be kind of not accepted, and now it's accepted, and the other way around, it's accepted now to joke about it, and then 10 years has passed and it's not accepted. Then what, should I go then back and just say, oh, whatever?
No, but
It was, everybody was doing it then, and it was okay then. There was context behind it. There was no the kind of the historical punch or whatever cultural shift that has changed, right? or with old songs or with old movies. They were made in that particular time, and they were, let's say, classics or golden or whatever because of that particular time.
Like if
They,
you
they,
take Oscars, for instance, I think no fucking movie produced in 2025 or 6, in 2026, because we're in 2026, no fucking movie will take the Oscar if you take the movies that were produced, let's say 10 years ago, that took the Oscars.
yeah, it won't.
Because of so many fucking diversity, equity, and inclusion bullshit criteria that you're supposed to qualify for in order to even get it in the first place. The same goes with the games, with music, like what the fuck you can say. Like this whole concept of censorship and what you should censor and what's offensive to some group of people and whatnot is just mind boggling. And as you said previously, I think we live the last days when we're still kind of enjoying the free internet.
Just think about Call of Duty lobbies,
Yeah.
or the early kind of Counter-Strike,
Like if you
Counter-Strike
don't fucking
1.6.
like the content, don't play it, don't watch it, fuck off.
But
Like do something else,
But
right?
it's not about that. To them, it's not about that. To them, it's about kind of hitting the content and hitting the people that liked it. The best example I can give you regarding this thing is that the first Joker with Joaquin Phoenix that they did, I forgot the director's name. He did it in a way so that he actually expected people to hate the Joker, you know? So when all those kind of, they call them chuds, all those people, and a lot of them straight white males, liked the character and understood why he is the way he is, kind of, at least in this setting, they understood why he's like that, and he understood that he was kind of actually let down by the society because he had a lot of psychological kind of things going on, and he was dropped by the institution without those drugs to being able to kind of function normally. And what did he do? He created the second movie to own the charts. Oh, you like the character? Well, how about I'll kill him? How about he will be raped in prison? Joker gets raped in prison. In the second movie, he gets raped and he gets killed. He expected people to hate Joker, but people like Joker. So what he did, he created the second movie, a musical, which, come on, why would you make a musical? I hate musical. I don't know who likes musicals, but whatever.
Yeah. Same
So
shit.
so it's so this is what they are doing, right? They want to kill the fan base. They want to make you feel bad for liking something that used to be kind of okay. That's why they do it. That's why they infiltrate all those kind of already existing IPs so that they're not creating nothing new. They are destroying what is already kind of a legacy, right? That's why they target the fan base. And let's say when the new movies that get out and they're horrible, they're done by whatever agenda, or they're being done by whatever subject, is that, oh, it's not being watched because it's the fans' problem, right?
No, but what's gonna happen in the process is you're gonna fucking Bud Light everything, if you know what I mean.
And
Like in the end, people pay you money, and if you alienate your customer base,
your target audience, the
then
core
who's gonna
one.
fucking buy? Like if you watch what happened to Bud Light, what's happening
But
to
they deserve
Disney,
it. They ruin it, and they deserve the unsuccess, the failure. They deserve it. But
No, for sure, yeah.
but in their mind, they blame the fans, as in, oh, you don't like it, don't, as in with games, don't like it, don't pay for it, and then people don't pay for it, and the game flops. And it's the fans who kind of
It's like
blame.
fucking
It's the fans'
blaming.
blame.
It's
Yeah,
like fucking
you
blaming.
did not buy it. It failed. It's your fault. But you said we should not play it. If it's not for us, we're not playing it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, fucking making a beer. You're like a beer brand. Your customer base is male primarily.
Yeah.
And you're telling them that they
Go
should
fuck yourself.
associate with trannies and shit. Of course, nobody's gonna buy that shit, right? It's like Gillette, like a bunch of brands which alienate men, emasculate men just for being men, especially if you're white. Like that's like a fucking crime and whatnot. But like the point being is, you're at some point going to fall down because of stupid decisions like this, right? If you're trying to fit some kind of agenda, it's not going to work in the
The
end.
issue, I would say always, the issue is that you want to create something new. There is no issue in creating one. Don't go and change something that already exists based on a core audience that was targeted. As in, it has a origin, right? If you want to create something LGBTQ friendly, whatever, do it. But do it for that audience. Don't destroy this new stuff.
I definitely agree. Like,
So,
don't try to fucking alienate whatever already exists, as well as destroy the mood for everybody else.
or if you're doing it like whatever they're doing with superhero movies, do it as a parallel universe, whatever. Do it there. Do it
Yeah.
whatever, because it's always, for me, it's always funny that the character in question, or let's say the origin of the story or of the game or of the book, or it doesn't matter, it has a story. It's been, let's say, created with Lord of the Rings, right? It's been created in 1920 something or 30 something, I forgot, but it's been created then as the vision of the author, right? So if you take it as, at least let's say you create a show on it, you can respect it. You already have the source material, but what are they doing? They're changing what's already existing for whatever reason. And there are multiple reasons. One of those reasons is that, and actually it has been said by an author, kind of a popular author, Brandon Sanderson, maybe you know about it. He said that early in his days he was contacted by a kind of not a writer but a scenarist, kind of scenario guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to push his book, and it's a fantasy book. He wanted to push his book to be kind of a movie. So he was thrilled because, come on, as a young writer, come on, why wouldn't it be something that you wouldn't want to do? So he kind of gave him the green light. Okay, here is the story. Blah 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 blah. They talk with the scenarist about everything, and when it came down to kind of the finished scenario and finished kind of new story in the movie, he saw that the story is nothing like the book he written, and he understood it kind of in the following way. Those Hollywood kind of new writers, those kind of scripters and whatever, they wanted to create something all their lives,
Yeah.
but they were unable to. So because they're in the position where they are, they find some script of a kind of, maybe not the most popular book, but a good book. So they buy kind of, to create a movie. They take this story and they change it how they would have written. So it's nothing original there from kind of the origin, nothing left basically.
Yeah. Let's make Snow
Yeah, yeah.
White black.
Yeah. What they do? They create something that they would have written. They don't create something new, because if they did, the green light from the upper management wouldn't have come. They need something substantial, something. Okay, how many copies this book have sold? 100,000.
Yeah. You take some I don't know, popular stuff and then castrate it so that you can cater
Or
to.
change it, or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter, right? That's what he did. He took the book and he only fixated on a part of it. He only fixated on whatever part he liked. He changed it to wherever he liked, and because the higher ups don't know the story, they greenlit it, right,
Yeah.
based on this guy's kind of pitch.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the final product, it's nothing how it should have been.
Yeah, it's in a lot of the cases, like a lot of the fiction stories that you read in the books, when you see the movie, it's like sometimes it is alike, but a lot of the times it's either different or nothing like in the book.
And this is the reason why is it like that, because again, it comes down to they also want to push this whatever new title as something to the existing fans. But because let's say if the author knows about it, he would say to his fans, I didn't participate in it, I just got both the rights, I don't think it's whatever, because you want to save yourself. If it's something that is based on your book and it's nothing like your book, then your kind of image is going to be kind of tainted.
True, then you have to kind of start saying you're sorry to
Yeah.
audiences you didn't even know you had.
Yeah. You need to go around and say and kind of try to mitigate the situation with something you haven't done, and it's not even your fault. You haven't pitched it, you didn't change it, and whatever. So it comes down to this, to basically the changing of whatever in the vision of this current author. The same thing happened with Witcher. First season, they respectfully went by the books, the most popular season. Second season, it diverged.
I think I only seen the first season, and immediately when I started looking at the second, I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm not watching this.
The second season, it diverged in the second episode. Very hard. They killed the Jaskier, the one character. They killed it, or not Jaskier. I forgot. A Witcher. In books, he's not killed, but they killed it in the show.
Yeah, because then you can revive it for some kind of a.
No, they don't.
Like I see this in TV shows
No,
a
they
lot,
don't.
where they kill somebody, but they're actually not dead because there's like a detail which they didn't show.
They didn't revive him. He was dead, and whatever. So what they did with again, because it's Netflix, what they did is they focused again the story. If you take the Witcher story, it's about Witcher, Ciri, and Yennefer. It's about the story of Witcher, Ciri, and Yennefer, right? It's kind of like a family, if you can call it this kind of story, like a family. But they focused on politics, they focused on girl boss power, they focused on war of whatever, showing that this girl is very powerful and she's a sorcerer and she's whatever. When in reality, you have the Witcher, right? You have the story
you have
of
it in the fucking
Witcher.
name. Yeah.
You have the story of the Witcher. So what's even more funny, if you look at season 3 and season 4, Geralt, as in The Witcher, he was on screen for only 15% of time in a series called The Witcher. 15% of time?
Yeah.
And in the season 4, I think also 17%. It's like, what are we doing here? And this is, it's funny that they had one of the kind of most informed and most passionate actor which read the books. He kind of read them 3 or 4 times.
Didn't he sign out?
He gave up. Yeah. Henry Cavill gave up. The 4th season is with Chris Liam Hemsworth, not Chris Hemsworth, Liam Hemsworth. And his interpretation of Geralt, again, come on, how can he play Geralt better than Henry Cavill? Come on.
So the shittiest TV series is when you start with one actor, then you end up with the other one.
Yeah. But again, what's even more funny that the showrunner, the director showrunner, this I forgot her name, Hisrich something, Jen Hisrich, I forgot her name. She says it that she's very happy that she got the rights, and she says it to her fan that, what am I going to do? Not follow the books? What, am I stupid? Apparently she is, because she followed the books in the first season, but then in the second you go off the rails, and in the third you just go.
She got an entanglement.
Yeah, I don't know. It's and what's even more funny is that the scenarist people were getting very angry by Henry Cavill, because how dare he come and tell me that actually Geralt would do this and say that in this scenario, because this is a very hard kind of scene. It's a not dramatic, but it's a sad scene, or it's a very whatever. They would get very frustrated. How dare you come to me and tell me to change the script? He needs to laugh here. He needs to be funny here. there was literally a scene where Henry says that I cannot film it this way because it doesn't make sense for this way, because this scene is sad. The scene where his horse dies, his horse gets attacked, and this horse was with him, I think, for a few years, right? It's like his companion, and they wanted him to kind of make a joke in this scene. You know, horse died, haha, laugh. Horse died. You know, look, horse died.
Yeah.
And he was against it, as in, what do you mean? His companion died. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's funny. Like,
So it's always funny how they are managing to ruin it. It's always like
I say it's
there needs
always,
to be a subject, right?
yeah, I say it's all about leadership. Like a lot of the times you see a fucked up movie, TV show, game, you immediately look at who fucking was in charge, like who was the managing director, the publisher, the like who was like the director of art and whatnot, and you immediately figure out like why the fucking thing went wrong. And if it's like a guy who's trying to push DEI and shit, like that's like even the reason why I don't watch movies like prior, like anything after 2020 is kind of off for me.
No,
It-
there are still good movies,
it's
but
gonna be a
it's not the
degree-
same. But it's not the same
It's
level.
gonna be a degree of DEI which immediately triggers me and it turns me off. I'm like,
There,
I don't want to fucking watch that.
There are still good movies, but the thing also that you need to kind of take into consideration is that it used to Hollywood in general used to be more experimental.
That's how Hollywood appeared.
They used to be,
you
they
had
used to be-
gatekeepers and then you had Hollywood.
yeah. There used to be more experimental stuff. They were experimenting with everything, different directors with different actors. As in, what is that? What is that movie with Tom Cruise about? Not Vanilla Sky. I forgot it. It's a very kind of not bizarre movie, but interesting movie. Like he plays kind of the evil guy, kind of.
I'm not sure it's Mission Impossibles, but
No, Caledula, or I forgot.
he has a lot of good stuff actually. Yeah.
Those experimental movies, actually, some of them really stuck. You know, as in created, etc., and they were really good. But if you look currently, as in some kind of slop, which again, you from time to time you see a really good movie, but it's not to the extent that they used to.
Yeah, but it either is a movie which has a director which goes against all the fucking odds, all the fucking trends, or it's something which is castrated as usual. And you're gonna see the exact same bullshit, women power. You're gonna see a bunch of diversity there, a bunch of people of all kinds of ranges, and you're like immediately turned off. You immediately start seeing patterns and shit, and you no longer focus on the subject, and you're lost.
But
Yeah.
because the issue, at least the issue that I see with kind of not necessarily feminist, but feminist writer, if you can call it that, is if you want to for us to like this character, right? There is no issue with a female leading character. There needs to be story.
I would say there
she's
is.
powerful. If
I would,
she's powerful,
I would say there is, because we do not. There is no hero journey when it comes to females, right? It's not the same as with male, right? Because that's not.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
They just appear and they're powerful, but you need the journey. You need the journey to see what's happening, right? If you want us to understand this character, you need to give him human characteristics, human experiences, as in
The thing is, you might have like the similar kind of hero journey, but our brain just doesn't connect well with that because it's not
would say-
matching the reality, right?
No, I would say if you're that's the second thing. You need to be close to reality. You need to understand that okay, this character maybe it's not physically as strong as the evil guy, but she has tactics, right? She can use whatever. She knows logic, right? She wins, but she wins by the wits. She doesn't win by force. She doesn't win because she's more powerful.
Yeah, every time I see like
But
a girl beating up like 10 beefy dudes,
no,
it's
no,
like
this
fucking bullshit. Like,
no,
come on.
no.
Like,
This is if let's say there are particular powerful women that could maybe kind of fight untrained guys.
no, but
I
you
don't
immediately start seeing through the frames that this is
through the
bullshit
Hollywood way.
that's trying to be promoted and shit like that. And you're like, nah, I don't want to watch this. You know, it's like
Yeah, but
you lost me.
that's why I want movies that are real. As in, you want us to like it. If you make it as real as possible, it would have an audience.
That's why it's a product. Like you build a product, you try to respect your customer base,
Yeah.
right? If you like wash your feet with your customer base, at some point they'll fucking boycott you and you'll end up like fucking Bud Light, and that's the reality of it. So yeah, I'll end it on that note, I guess. It's been an unexpected turn of events. We've been covering quite a lot of topics.
Yes,
And
it does.
I'd love to talk about more of this and maybe continue of these topics in another version, which I'm always open to have. But I kind of want to lean to a closing. And I was wondering, do you have anything? I was gonna ask anything you do outside of work, but we've already talked a lot about outside work. But still, do you have any hobbies? Anything you prefer to do when you're not pushing merge requests or pull requests?
I was getting a little bit into Linux,
Linux.
a little bit.
How is that not work related?
No, but it's not regarding work. I'm looking at it as something that I wanted to get into.
More of a side hustle.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
something that to use it for work. It's more that I wanted to do it particularly to get more into Linux. I have Linux on my Steam Deck because it's an Arch Linux and I've been using it a little bit there, but it's again Steam Deck and a laptop, it's a little bit different. And also the second kind of thing I also wanted to experiment with is actually NeoVim, which is
Really?
which is a whole nother clusterfuck,
Yeah, I wish you the best of patience.
Yeah, but it will take a while, but
I heard it's really good, but I haven't really tried it myself. Like I'm using the regular Vim with some plugins and stuff, but yeah, I haven't tried NeoVim. I'm not sure.
I haven't yet done my config. I'm currently
Yeah,
just
it's all about how powerful your config is and stuff.
But it depends. As in, if you want extension for whatever Copilot or extension of code completion, or for let's say Beautify, or for whatever kind of theme, or for whatever what's it called, kind of brackets and colors and whatnot, is you can do everything in it.
I mean, I'm all for like pick whatever as long as you're productive, you like it, you feel comfortable. I personally sold my soul to JetBrains, so whatever. I'll just pay whatever.
You're getting you're why are you not getting yet sponsored?
Yeah, an example of a fucking company that actually respects their customer base. They don't bullshit you.
Which they were originally in Russia, if I remember correctly.
It's Czech Republic.
They were St. Petersburg, but
yeah. But still, I love the product, and yeah, like I said, if you're happy, productive, yeah, you do you. Like do VS Code, NeoVim, whatever.
I was actually, by the way, something about JetBrains that was actually shocked is that I knew that Sea Lion and a lot of their IDEs used to be payment.
Yeah.
But now actually IntelliJ got been put under paywall, but it used to be community edition, but now there is no community edition for IntelliJ. But Rust Rover, Sea Lion, and a few other IDEs are free.
No, they do it with a purpose that you get like a certain amount of adoption. They fix some bugs and whatnot.
I'm
then
the
language gets popular enough, and then like, oh, congrats! Now you have to pay for it.
Well, until it's kind of still free, because I remember Sea Lion was also kind of only for payment, and now because I guess either nobody was using it or something else, and they changed it back because
either that, or if it's free, it's like not. utilize, like not giving you all the like the full JetBrains suite of
Yeah, but
plugins
you
and
don't need all
everything.
the AI stuff that they have.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't need that. It's Juno or Junio, whatever it's being
Yeah, yeah,
called, and
yeah.
all the other stuff. It's, do I really need it? I mean,
Yeah, Copilot does pretty much the job for me.
if you have, I forgot what extension, that extension particular, which allows you to run with your local LLM
There is
model.
one plugin, yeah.
You don't even need a Copilot, whatever. You're just using it with, it's, I don't see a reason for that.
Yeah, yeah.
I also kind of so happened that I've got to know a few kind of good people in my last 3 years. They're very kind of good specialists, and they also recommended to get into Rust.
Oh yeah.
As in Rust, if you were thinking until now, as in I'm not so sure about getting into Rust, they said now is the best opportunity, because now with Arden Labs courses, and not only them, with other books kind of also being present, it's it's enough literature to get you started pretty pretty, maybe not kind of high advanced, but intermediate advanced
I
level.
don't see a problem with the literature. I personally see the problem with like the demand, the job market. It's not as big, and it kind
It
of
will, it starts.
yeah. It's
More the it's more okay, let's kind of fix it. It's better than it was 2 years ago.
no, that's true. But typically, you see projects which either they want to rewrite something to Rust, meaning they want to have performance. Performance was their critical thing, or you don't see projects written from scratch in Rust. Is my point.
I would say if it's something that at least gives you kind of experience in your portfolio,
Yeah, sure.
I don't see no reason with
If you
that.
can
But
get your hands dirty, just pick up anything. I yeah, personally is one of my favorites. I like have books and stuff lying around.
yeah, I know, I saw your collection.
Yeah, I need to pick it up more seriously at some point. But yeah, it's a good language.
Uh,
I love it.
are you planning, by the way, to buy the fourth edition of Algorithms? You have the third one.
I have the third one, which I haven't read yet, because
Get
it's so fucking big.
get the fourth one. It's even more.
No, but I wish I had the time to just read that, because it's so like it's so much good information there, and it's pure math, and you can implement it in any language. It's pseudocode, which is really cool. Yeah, love it.
But yeah. I also, because again, since I also kind of prepping for more interviews, it's always like you're prepping for this kind of particular, algorithms, data structure stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
which if you're leaving, you're kind of forgetting a little bit, and you need to get back into it. So I'm a little bit back into it, unfortunately, or not.
yeah. We'll see if those are necessary in the near future.
I think yes, but we'll see. We'll see. It's as in, even with Google, they were kind of having all those stuff in order to uh, look so that their candidates are not using AI. So in a particular time, they wanted the candidates to be present on site. They used to have them remote. I mean, now it's still remote in regions, but if you have an office in, let's say, in your city, they want you to be there, because they don't they're very skeptical that you're the kind of not using AI. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
What can I say? I love anything that's new. As you said previously, you should always be keen to learning and upgrading your skills. And the beauty about having all these LLMs and whatnot, you can always. I like how somebody put it. Like when you read a book, like you can just throw the book at it, and you can interact with the author without interacting with the author himself.
mm,
Meaning, just throw the book. You have a huge amount of context. You just interact with the book. Hey, what do you mean by this? Hey, what is that supposed to mean? Hey, how do I implement that? Can I translate this to this? And you can even read a book which is not even in your language of choice, and you can have it translated by an LLM. It's extremely powerful. We live interesting times, but at the same time, yeah, it's a bit uncertain, because you don't know. Like, if back in the day you were certain, like, if I know this if I know Java, I'm gonna have a really good job, I'm gonna have a stable future. People are going to respect me, a decent salary, a pretty good bargain, I would say. Nowadays, everything is kind of, temporary.
I would say certainty comes from when you're independent.
Yeah, how do you get to that point is the question.
Networking, be more present. Let's say code camps, different kind of what's it called? Kind of different, not presentation, but
Social events and stuff.
social events. Yes,
Yeah.
different social event. It's if you want independence. If let's say you're one in those 100 or in 200 or whatever, I don't know the statistics, then you got to be out there. You got to be out there and you got to kind of show yourself.
Yeah, I would say we shifted a little bit from just writing code to doing a bit more than that. And as I said previously, we live in an attention-based economy. You want to have some kind of you want to know what the fuck, like you want other people to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, because based on that, it's also going to matter whether you get a job or not, whether you get clients or not, and to the point where you actually get to be independent, right? And even when you become independent, it's not like you're just not gonna do anything
Yeah.
about it. You're still gonna have, like, I don't know, clients and shit. Like, let's say you run a company, right? You're still going to have to interact with clients. And how are you going to do that if you don't have any kind of communication skills, negotiation skills, a network of sorts, right?
I also noticed that this is kind of maybe not the best part or slash wonderful part, but even though you do not have, let's say you're not a good coder, you can be a very good kind of speaker, right? It's also kind of, again, you can be the idea guy, you can be the one that kind of brings all the specialists together, and you have a project, you have a company, whatever. You're the face which people will blame or will revere or whatever. I mean, you can do that. You can have that.
Yeah, well, ever since I started this podcast, I started to have a lot more compassion for just HR people, for just the people responsible for the logistical aspect of running a company. Because it's so hard to make things happen, make ends meet, in the sense that texting people, making sure they agree, making sure
That's why they have assistants.
Yeah, this fucking back and forth communication is so frustrating and so hard to do, actually. And I have more respect for those people. And yeah, like,
But again, we're looking at something that, if you're in your case, you are dependent on additional input, right? It's not only you kind of just adding from your experience. But if, let's say, from somebody, and again, maybe not, it's not the best example, but Primogen, for example, again, he has kind of featured kind of videos where he collaborates with people, but it's not all of his video. I mean, he speaks from experience. He speaks into camera, but again, that's how he speaks. So he's kind of human. That's what
kind
he
of
does.
human.
Again, you convey your human experience. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Even though he's like, I think he has ADHD or whatever.
No, I like him.
He's it's like, maybe I'm also like that, and maybe to a degree. I have my opinion on people overall. I think everybody's kind of on the spectrum, but there is like a norm of a societal norm. I think that it's like, if there is like a line, right? We don't know that kind of line, but let's say there is a line. So if you're kind of to the right of it, you're kind of normal. But if you get
I'd
into a
rather
little
deal
bit,
with a crazy ass person than to, like, the last person I want to deal with is normal people, because they're fucking boring. They don't do anything in life, and they just stay normal.
But they got that's the thing, at least with them, is that they got molded into this based on whatever societal stuff, right? That doesn't mean that they're not creative, or that doesn't mean that they don't know.
Yeah, but they'll always try to stay within that box of let's be normal.
Yeah, because again, that's what got into them, that got put into them, I would say. It's what, again, it's like there is this, and that's why I'm thinking that everybody's kind of on the spectrum. It's like there is this nagging voice that would not allow you to be whatever.
Yeah, I like what somebody said, and I really like it. and he was saying that the majority of people do not hold their own ideas, their own thoughts. Like they were programmed those thoughts by society, by their elders, by whoever the leaders in their society were and whatnot. And a lot of people didn't even learn how to think. Like if you try to stop everything that's going on for a second and just try to think for yourself,
It
right?
should.
Like try to ask, why do you believe what you believe? Maybe what you believe is not your thought, it's not your idea, it's not your way of living. Maybe that has been instilled in you, influenced by your peers, your friends, society, and whatnot. Like the moment you start to question everything, that's when you start to maybe believing in what you've been believing your entire life, and you end up realizing maybe that's false, maybe there's another way. Like I try to do that exercise of myself a lot of the times, and I tend to think it's actually a lot more beneficial than to just take everything for what it is. Like you hear some shit, you immediately believe it, and then you yap it to somebody else without even questioning, without even researching it, without asking whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. It's like with everything, and you end up like dealing with people that are yapping things that they haven't put in their own minds, they haven't really thought
Or
them.
or don't even believe it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just
Which,
say it.
but a
Yeah.
lot of people live their life that way. Like it's normal to do this. Why? Because I was told that. But why did you like what? Why were you told that? And who told that guy that? Another guy who told him that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but if again, it's about critical thinking. The critical thinking part should have been kind of put into your head by the teachers in school
But you don't.
and by the teachers you had in your life. But they come with bias, right? They don't come with, let's say, like my teacher, right? He kind of history teacher. She would come with this with the idea Russia bad, right? But
Yeah.
can you give me the facts? Can you give me the facts, right? Can you give me what A, B, C, and D did, and let's look at it together, right? Why Russia bad, but why Russia bad?
Yeah, especially on the political side. I used to be on one camp, then I used to be on the other camp, and then I'm like looking from the side. I'm like next time somebody says something is bad, or like next time somebody has a bias towards something, I will always rather choose the story that's neutral, because I know that that opinion is less biased, and not trying to force something down my throat instead of something which is always pro or always con something. And you bring a very good point. Like, and the reason why we are like that and we don't learn how to think is because thinking is being punished early on, right from the childhood. Like you try to be different, try to ask a bunch of questions, you're like not normal, and it immediately are sided out, and you don't belong to the tribe, and everyone wants to belong, right? That's why we do things the way we do it.
We're social things.
Yeah,
That's why.
social beings and all that, and tribalistic to an extent. And yeah, it's important to maintain this uh key aspect of critical thinking, especially nowadays in this era of AI, of everybody's being a specialist and whatnot. Like if everybody's using their ass to copy paste LLM generated code, try to use your brain. Maybe it's gonna get you a bit farther, if you know what I mean.
But yeah, it's what um, at least that's my issue with if we're looking at school. And again, with my teacher, it's one of those examples. And it's not only this, even the same kind of literature, right? If you think about it, the example which I have that kind of resonates more with me was there was this kind of third grade schooler in Russia. She was kind of given an assignment to write a composition about a whatever poem an author written. So she actually knows the kind of email of that author. She wrote to him that, can you please help me write the composition about your poem? So the guy literally, okay, help her, and they wrote about this poem. She went with this composition to school. she kind of gave it to the teacher, and teacher gave her 3 out of 5 because she said she did not understood the author's idea of the kind of message, right?
And there's a proper way the message is
Yeah, yeah,
conveyed.
yeah, yeah. But girl, the author literally helped this child. You know, the author literally helped this child. What do you mean? And it comes down to this kind of the same thing with my literature teacher. She would have her whatever visions about this kind of poem, about this kind of
And as long as you
book.
appear to that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And as long as you're kind of kind of sugarcoating it, bringing whatever facts, and the thing with essay, right, which I was able to do, and whenever I would try, I would get a 7, a 6 out of 10 because whatever you
you're
did not
not touching the right chords and
you did
shit.
not understood the message, you
Yeah.
didn't know whatever. And this sugar coating, it's so, it's again, it's biased, right? It's not about what literally kind of the author written and whatever. It's the interpretation of this kind of reality in whatever bias that this person has. So that's, again, it comes from, did you give me critical thinking, or did you want me to kind of please you,
Yeah,
to write all those kind of tricks and whatever kind of
that's what happens in job interviews, I would say.
yeah, yeah,
There's like a version of answers you want to give them so you can
yeah,
get
yeah.
the job, and there's obviously a version of reality which you would give them, but then you would not qualify for the job.
It's my first funny you said that. My first ever interview I had actually in QA when I was kind of still internship in 18 is that I went to this interview and there were 5 guys. Can you even imagine? I've never been to an interview and there will be
Talk about pressure.
me and 5 guys.
Yeah, yeah.
For a junior position of QA, my guy junior. And this particular bold guy asked me, I don't remember his name, but he asked me the question regarding some testing or whatever, and either was about smoke or whatever, and I gave him the definition that you smoke testing is the most important kind of functionality of what you're testing, and etc. And he thinks for a few seconds and he says, no, 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 this is what it is. And he literally blurts my answer back to me. And he says, this is the right answer. And I'm looking at him.
Yes, you're right, my
And I'm
friend.
looking at him and I'm saying, this is what I said. This is what I said to you. And I'm looking at other guys and they're like, oh, we don't know. It's what's happening. It's and there were I'm kind of lucky that I never kind of also went through that, but 2-3 scenarios like that were also kind of the same that happened in the past. And it's strange that you're giving them the answer and they just repeat it back to you in whatever tone, and they say, no, this is the right one. But bro, this kind of ritual of software kind of interviewing, it sometimes is
Yeah,
getting ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of the times you end up meeting with a lot of fucking insecure guys who are just trying to see if they can keep you under their manipulative control type of thing, or like they're trying to gauge if you're easily manipulative or not. They're trying to see if you can be controlled or not. A lot of the times your answers will have to infer some kind of fidelity slash loyalty. So if you're not saying that through your answers, most likely you're not going to be rewarded the position for the job. That's what I've noticed. And on the contrary, if you say any stupid shit which smells like independence, smells like the guy who knows what he wants, the guys who knows how things are supposed to be done, maybe we don't want to hire this guy. And then you get a stupid feedback like you don't align with our company values and shit, or they just don't want to tell you that they picked somebody else who's the lowest bidder because they don't give a shit. They just will pay somebody for less as long as they're like a monkey coder who's gonna push stuff with LLMs and whatnot. Like, it's a lot of politics, I would say. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get a job these days.
It is, but yeah, you don't lose hope, you know.
But maybe I guess we should at some point, with experience, maybe stop chasing a job. Maybe
Yeah, but this independence you can only have it when you have, let's say, resources, right? But if you don't have resources, what do you do?
yeah, you need to first be in a good position before you make a good move. If you're in a shitty position, there's
Yeah,
no chance of you making a good move. uh yeah, it's chess 101, except it's life. um yeah, maybe let's kind of go to closing. Is there anything you had an opinion of, let's say, when you started, like QA and whatnot, an opinion you hold strong, and it a bit changed over the years? Maybe you've matured a little bit, maybe you've grown a little bit, and you kind of changed your mind about certain things.
I still think, and I thought, and I still think about. Um, I'm a very kind of or meritocratic person.
Yeah.
As in, I know kind of shit happens, right? It's not that necessarily every time you're gonna get what you want, but if with enough effort, I think it's possible to reach kind of whatever you want. And but it's I don't want to get kind of into spiritual stuff or whatever, but there is some kind of a correlation between the thoughts and the materialism, you know, the kind of the
Manifestation of sorts.
manifestation of sorts. Yeah, there is kind of something, maybe not 100%, but sometimes it happens, and when it happens, it kind of steers you towards kind of getting more into believing that there is a correlation between what's happening and what you're thinking,
Yeah.
more than it isn't. As in, if you're kind of down, if you're negative about yourself, so it's it's why I always wanted and I always pushed for, as in, people doing their best and getting what they're kind of working towards. I know it's not 100% most of the times that it happens, but when it happens, I know for a fact that it's kind of it's been given, you know, because you worked hard, and not because you were, you're from Moldova, oh, you're a minority, let me give you this to you, right? It's
No, it's
none
the other
of
way around.
none of this stuff. I'll never be for just handing it because you're different.
You
I
gotta earn it.
For me, it doesn't matter what race you are, what sex you are, what your orientation or whatever. It doesn't matter. This I still think, and that it's a kind of, when the sexuality and the workplace has started kind of intermingling and kind of mixing, I think it's a bad thing. What's happening in your bedrooms should stay in your bedroom, and what I'm working, as in, let's say I was trans, but I'm doing a good work, it should not matter to you, right? I'm not pushing anything on you, I'm doing my job, I'm a good professional. This is what I'm first is a good professional, and then whatever I'm doing home and whatnot, it's my job. That's my kind of motto, and I'm sticking by it.
So is it something that changed over time, or it's something that
it's
remained?
it's it became even more solidified,
Yeah, yeah.
that the hard work and you getting it is kind of understandable. You did not receive it because, oh, he's my son, you know, and whatever. Oh, my friend gave me that job because I'm a really good friend. The fact that he's my friend should be the second or the third or the fourth thing. The first thing should be, okay, can I do this job? Am I fit for this job?
Yeah.
And am I a good professional? Can I, let's say, uh he the, am I a good, let's say, mid developer, right? Because he's trying to put me into the position of writing code for a mid or for a senior or being a team lead. Am I a good team lead? Can I do this?
Oh, that's I totally respect that, and I think more people should think like that. Maybe. maybe if more people thought like that, we'd had a better situation overall.
Because for me it doesn't matter. It's even as an example, let's say there are a lot of female software engineers, very capable. I'll have no issues
I
hiring
wouldn't
them.
say there's a lot of them, but
I,
yeah.
I I will have no issues hiring them. If there was kind of 50-50, let's say there was a 50-50, I'll have no issues hiring them.
No, but the problem is because every single time I interview like females, I ask them, "Is there a gender pay gap?" Some will say yes, some will say no, but the ones that will say yes, I will then ask them, "But if I was an entrepreneur, and let's say there is a gender pay gap, and let's say everybody is equally skilled, why the fuck would I not like? Why are companies still hiring more men when it comes to, let's say, STEM, any kind of job involving engineering, math, science, and all that stuff?" That's maybe because it comes down to competency and meritocracy, as you say. And yeah, I tend to, I'm a firm believer in that. I am a firm believer that whoever is the best at a specific job, at a specific profession, should be the one taking it. That's why you have most doctors, most surgeons in particular being male, most pilots. And you can take a whole lot of industries, like anything that requires any kind of problem solving that is complex, typically going to be a male. I'm not misogynistic by saying that. I'm just a realist. I'm just fact checking. But yeah.
I would say if there is a scenario where there is a gender pay gap and it's kind of particular discrimination, I would say this is something should be taken care of. If it's particularly, let's say there's a company which kind of discriminate against women, I would say this should be taken care of. But if there is no such a thing, then
No, but you can't tell that at, let's say, the hiring process. You can't tell that I was hired because I was a male or because I was a female. At that point, when you're hiring somebody,
no, but
you're
at least
you're strictly comparing.
yeah.
Okay, I have two candidates. This one has this much experience. This one has a bit less experience,
Yeah,
but he's
but
more.
here's the question. Here's the question, and it's also interesting for me. Let's say you have two equally good candidates, right? And one is a man, one is a female.
Yeah.
How would you proceed, right? You need only one. You have only one position. How would you proceed, right?
Again,
Would
I
you
would I would
consider
take all the variables into consideration.
would you consider let's say would it be considered DEI if you hire the girl and not the guy?
Again, I would take all the variables into consideration, and when I say all the variables,
As in salary,
I
etc.
mean salary, I mean competency, I mean, is this person gonna prefer to work extra time? I mean, is this person gonna prioritize work over family? And all these factors which go way beyond just the job status and what you're supposed to do, right? Because yeah, we're doing a job at work, but at the same time we're also humans, and there's also exceptional situations and things like that. And if I have a business, then I want to have that business rely on competent people that are willing to do their absolute best, even when they don't feel like they're doing their absolute best. And a lot of the times, like if you take the female nature in particular, a lot of the times that tends to fail, right? So would I hire a female? For sure. It depends on the role. It depends what I'm looking for, right? If I was to hire an HR guy, I would probably never hire a guy, or in rare cases, because a female would just do a way better job at that, right? Like it depends what am I looking for. If it's software engineering, yeah, if the person is skilled enough, as you said, meritocracy will always win in my case as well. I'm not gonna sit and tolerate like a stupid guy who isn't capable of like doing basic stuff when there's a girl who's doing way more. And yeah, why not?
Yeah, but the issue is that also kind of government kind of pushing for
Again, it depends.
a particular number of females
It
being your
depends
company.
what country you're opening your
Moldova
business
also
in.
is pushing that.
Yeah, but it's not like if your business is failing, it's not like, let's say if you reach a certain level of scale, yeah, maybe that's the case. But if you're a small company, nobody gives a shit. As long as you pay your taxes, you're fine. And even if they did push that idea, I would have to, like, there's always a way to push back. I don't believe that I am forced to hire women because I want to fucking respect some numbers, right? I don't care about your numbers.
Yeah, but I know cases where a particular kind of company where
Yeah, but
we're unable to find.
but do you get fined if you don't
Yeah,
hire?
you are.
I'll fucking pay the fine. I'll be that fucking
It's
guy.
too. It's the fine is so expensive that you'd rather find and kind of
How much is the fine?
incompetent
How much is the fine for a
worker.
Moldovan company?
It's it was more than just paying the annual salary of a junior kind of software engineer.
Again, I would have to look into the details of that, and I would have to fucking but if it's a matter of principle and the state wants to fuck with me, we can take it to that direction, right? We can go to the court, try and prove shit. We'll see who's right in the end, right? But again, if I don't have to adhere to certain laws and I'm not breaking the law, I'm good. If I am breaking the law, but that's subjective because somebody thought I should have 50-50 just because, then fuck you. I'll go and fight for the fucking I'll spend my time because of principle. I'm a man of principle, and if I think I'm right, and if I don't think that I should follow the bullshit just because everybody does, again, going back to the normal thing, like be normal, yeah, of course it's cheaper to hire a woman. Why not? I'll put her in some fucking shit position. She's not gonna do anything. I'll keep it DEI safe. But why the fuck would I do that? Why would I be like everybody else?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That at least in those cases, a few of those kind of people, that's what they also kind of forced to do.
I guess
just find, just like find because again, they were looking for kind of, no matter the level, they were looking for a girl, kind of software engineer girl, and they were unable to find it. And they literally created a position for this particular girl that they are hiring currently just
yeah,
right
but
now.
that's stupid. Like is
Yeah, I know.
Can you call that productivity and contribution to the GDP? That's stupid. That's bullshit. Like the fact that you're making shit and then discarding it, it doesn't mean that's productive.
Let me tell you another part of this bullshit. How about opening a sole proprietor kind of company, right? And not having no clients, and the state wanting for you to pay the medical insurance, first thing. The second thing, the state wanting you to pay for your pension and social kind
no,
of
but
this.
those are obligations.
How?
Kind of.
I have no clients. I have no money. Where am I taking it from? Do you get the problem?
No, I do understand the issue with that.
This is it's the same thing. It's the same thing. What's going here is going in there. As in, how am I? Okay, scratch that. Let's say how in my case, right? Let's say you got fired, as in, oh, you got fired in April, right? Let's say you got fired in April. In March, it ends the discount for your obligatory medical insurance that you need to pay to state, right? You're getting fired in April, so you can't get it because the company was paying for your insurance every month, basically. So now comes the government and fucks you because you have no job and your obligatory insurance is not being paid because you're not working currently,
Yeah.
So you gotta pay the full thing. Oh, you're not paying it, then every day there is a kind of
No, but that's
thing added.
Like
It's the same nonsense. It's the same bullshit as, oh, you need a DEI hire even though this person is not doing anything and you can't find a specialist because there are not enough specialists. It don't fucking matter. You gotta find somebody.
I like how Charlie Kirk put it. DEI means didn't earn it. I get the nonsense with DI, but with the company thing, like when you open a company, you need to be aware that government is there to fuck you anyway. So as long as you always keep it running, you're in a good spot, right?
Yeah, but if the moment you
stop,
like in my case,
yeah, the
you're
moment you
fucked.
stop for a second, that's when you run into trouble, and that's in general when it comes to companies owning them. you have maintenance costs, right? Whether you like them or not, there are maintenance costs, and like the lack of clients is actually really bad for business. Like it's bad for your company. You'd rather close the company instead of running it on low or on no clients, basically. That's kind of how it works from my experience, at least. Yeah. So, but DI is a whole different fucking topic, and I'm glad it's slowly dying, at least in the US.
Not in all states and not by whatever.
Yeah, I'm glad we're going to a change where like we can laugh it off. We can not necessarily feel as guilty as we used to, at least in the West.
Because you should earn the position. You are a good specialist. That's why you got this position.
True.
Not
Yeah.
because you were 10% indigenous to America, and then whatever 20% some whatever, and then also because you're this orientation and that. It's this is bullshit. You need to be a good specialist first, and then all those other things second, third, and whatnot. So even those things should not even matter at the workplace. You should be there because you're a good specialist, you're a good worker, you're a good professional.
Yeah, your ability to be in a position or in a company shouldn't start with what the fuck you got between your legs, rather with what you got in your mind, what kind of contribution and value do you bring to the company so that they want to hire you. That's my position as well. But yeah, like obviously in certain countries this will be abused because there are certain laws in place, right? And there's also social pressure and virtue signaling and shit like that.
Depends on who's kind of in the government.
And it depends what kind of society you're in. Like if you're in a blue state or whatever, like if you're in a Western country, most likely this is going to be shoved down your throat to some extent. If you don't like it, just fucking move on. Like go to some country where you have more, let's say, where people actually value meritocracy more, right? I wouldn't say Moldova is necessarily at a bad place when it comes to that. I am glad we're still preserving / conserving those traditional values. We're landsliding a little bit in the wrong direction, I would say, but we still have those traditional values, which I'm thankful for. I don't have to prove shit. Like I don't have to walk on the street and like misgender somebody or whatever. Like I don't care. I just mind my business. I'm cool.
But there's also the thing with language, as in English, the things kind of don't have a gender, right? It's just okay, this is a pencil, table, whatever.
Yeah, but people don't care about that shit here. People are way too poor to fucking care about that. Like when you start to even raise that conversation, people are like what the fuck? Like I don't have money to pay my electricity bill. What the fuck are you talking about? Like it's a whole different reality. Like you can talk about that shit.
Gas prices.
Yeah, you can gas prices, right? Like you can talk about that shit when you're like good enough, fed enough, like comfortable enough. No, let's fucking talk about some shit. Let's talk about some
philosophy,
meaning of life, some meditation, some bullshit like that. But when you don't have enough money to feed yourself, like what are we talking about, right? Anyway, it's been a really long discussion, one that I'm enjoying. I'll be all the way honest. It's a bit more diverse, a bit more unusual. Although we're having a discussion with a fellow software engineer, just to remind you all, yeah, we're kind of approaching a closing for quite a few times already. And before we close the show with my final question, which I ask everybody, we have, as I introduced in the beginning, two kinds of wine. We tasted the what was the first one?
Governor.
The Governor.
Yeah.
As the guest is showing up, and the other one was Autograph. So the tradition of the show is the guest picks a bottle of wine if the drink of choice is wine. So which one is it going to be, my friend?
For me,
my brother.
Yeah. I'll go with the Governor.
Yeah, Governor is a good choice. Really loved it. Although the other one is really good as well, because I tasted the other one as well. So both good choices, but the Governor goes with the Governor.
Governor.
All right. Yeah. And to close the show, I typically ask my guest, in this case, my friend as well, what's your final piece of advice for the people watching, for the audience? Maybe it's something about like life advice in general, because we've been talking quite an array of topics here. Maybe it's QA, maybe it's software
I
engineering.
think it's kind of two things. It's always about, I don't know where to start with. You just gotta start with something.
Yeah.
If it's coding, QA, it don't matter. You just gotta start with, and then stay true to yourself. You gotta have a backbone.
Would you recommend software engineering to people who have no clue or want to go into it?
It is harder to get into, but definitely. Again, depends. Do you like staying all day in front of your computer? Blah 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 blah. If you're okay with that, with all those stuff, then
if you were to go back to university or even before that to high school, would you choose software engineering yet again?
It will be one of my one of my options. It will be, yes.
Yeah, I'll do the same. No regrets.
More regrets.
No regrets ever. Anyway, it's been my pleasure to have this discussion with you.
Happy to be here.
And I'd love to have it more often. Who knows, maybe a new show, a new edition of this podcast and whatnot. We'll keep you up to date. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for coming over. And yeah, like I said, I'm open to have many more conversations over some new red wine and whatnot. Yeah, so this was VUnstaged, a little bit of a more, let's say, a longer episode and whatnot. But yeah, as always, keep your mind open and your source unstaged, and I'll see you in the next one.